Hello and welcome to a brand new World RX Esports Series. We've had 2 invitational events already. I know some of you guys have been with us for those. We're now going to be doing 4 events. It's going to be a championship, and we've got a new format too. So we've taken the esports drivers and we've given them their own series to take part in. They'll be doing semi-finals and finals today, but I know what most of you will be super excited to see is our pro driver series. So all these guys are drivers from various different disciplines of motorsport. Of course, we've got the very best from the World Rallycross Championship in our top 3 drivers from last year, Timmy Henson, Andreas Backrud, Kevin Hansen, but we've pulled in an incredible entry and we'll run through a little bit more of the details with you in a moment. So we're starting in Abu Dhabi, then going to be heading to Norway, Sweden and Cape Town. So we're actually starting and finishing the season where we would have done in real life, were it not, unfortunately, of course, for COVID intervening. So we hope you guys are going to be able to enjoy the action from home. My name's Andrew Coley. I am the real-life television commentator for the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Joining me is Neil Cole. Neil, whereabouts is he? There he is. How are we doing?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you doing, Coley?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Looking forward to this. Very much looking forward to it. I say we've got an absolutely stellar lineup, and I think the best thing me and Neil could do is grab that on screen for you guys to have a look. We've got some big surprises for you. Not that much of a surprise if you've been across social media, but take a look at this. Here we go. So if you look across the list at the top there, we've got a couple of guys from V8 straight away, Scott Pye, Shane Van Gisbergen, Fraser McConnell's in the Jamaican legend. We've got Blake Bilko Williams back, hopefully this time Bilko, and also Connor Martel won't have the connection problems they had last time. Ollie Bennett's actually out, but he's subsidised by Martin Enland. So Ollie's had to withdraw at the last minute. Tessa Whittock is a drift driver from here in the UK, Monster Energy athlete. Looking forward to that. Andreas Backrud is back. And in that bottom race, Neil, we've got a driver there that I think everyone is really excited to see.
It's brilliant that we've got Charles Leclerc. Anyone who follows him across his Twitch and his social media will know that he's just been involved in esports right from the very beginning and making the most of driving anything he can during the time that he's not able to jump in his Ferrari and race in Formula One. So we're super stoked to have Charles Leclerc with us today.
Yeah, so excited. I know you guys will be as well at home. Down the bottom there was also Esteban Guerrero. We've got Tom Blomqvist too. So we've got a number of drivers, and where we've moved the esports drivers into their own category, and actually just so you guys are aware at home, John Armstrong and Matthias Adielson, who of course both compete in real life as well. They're in the esports category. The reason for that is they're esports professionals, and they accept that. I know they'd love to be racing against Charles Leclerc. I mean, everybody would like to take on an F1 driver, and I'm really excited because it's the first time we've had an F1 driver who's been brave enough to come and join us. You know, rallycross is a bit different. If you're new to the sport, we race on tarmac, we race on gravel, we have jumps. We do occasionally have a little bit of contact, though it's not allowed. It does happen. And we're really excited to see what, Ferrari's current #1 driver can do against the very best from the World Rallycross Championship. So stay with us. We've got 2.5 hours of action coming up for you. 4 qualifying sessions with the real-life drivers. Then we've got semis and finals for both the esports drivers and the real-life drivers. We are, of course, competing at Abu Dhabi, which made its debut on the World Rallycross Championship last year. And we can take you for a little look around the Yas Marina circuit. Yas Marina, the F1 circuit modified to host the World Rallycross Championship. 1.2 kilometer track, anti-clockwise, 60% asphalt, 40% dirt. We ride on board with Tim Asianov as he comes down to turn 1, into the left and then over to the right. Don't hit those curves too hard. They're very high indeed. On the gas again, down toward the hairpin in the stadium section. Important here to be smooth on the exit. High track temperatures. Don't roast the tyres. On the gas again, down towards another big stop braking zone. And look here, it's blind into the left and it's blind again to the right. You have to make sure you get right into the apex as the track comes fully back on itself. Onto the dirt, a long sweeping left-hander. Timmy himself saying this left-hander, 5th gear, 145 kilometers an hour, braking with the car unsettled, uphill into the hairpin. Get it rotated again, and then it's on the gas down to the joker lap split. Standard lap goes over the jump. The joker, you can see, goes right. It's a drop jump on the dirt, flat out down to the merge, and the joker lap will come into your right. Over the finish line, going to be some great racing. There we are. So here is some of our driver lineup. You'll be familiar with some of these guys. And in fact, you can see their names in the bottom left corner if you're not familiar. So over on the right-hand side, Fraser McConnell's got the Jamaican flag in the background. That's what we've come to expect from him. Big up Jamaica. I know you'll be watching. Tess Whittock top right. Really looking forward to seeing what Tess can do here. I say Monster Energy Drift competitor. Rokas Bachuska at the top. Very quick last time. Top left, Andreas Bakkerud. Bakkerud is back. Matvey Farashkin in the middle of your screen on the left. Connor Martel in the middle. Connor is up super early. And Esteban Guerri down at the bottom of your screen as well. So we're going through all the different time zones there. Connor, of course, over in the States. I'm assuming Esteban is at home in Argentina. But so he will be behind. Fraser McConnell, of course, in Jamaica. And then we've got Matt Vey will be a couple of hours ahead of us. Andreas and Rokas an hour ahead of here in the UK as well. So we have got drivers down in Australia and New Zealand too. So people at various different states of their day, Neil.
I love to see just how gangster that was from Matvey Farashkin, the way that he moved his sim rig down a little bit. It was kind of really impressive rig. He's got everyone waving at the cameras, everyone giving us a thumbs up or a V sign salute to let us know that they're listening and ready to race. This is going to be so good. I'm very excited about qualifying one, race one.
So we are loading our drivers into the grid as we speak. Now, remember that you are facing the grid. So Abu Dhabi's turn 1 is a 90-degree left-hander straight into a 90-degree right-hander. You'll remember how big the curbs are there. Last year, it was Rainis Nitish who got the Air of the Weekend award for his launch onto the back of Anton Markland's car. I think semi-finals was that. Anyway, so Scott Pye will be on the pole. Scott is an Australian who races for DeWalt Racing in supercars. He's won the Australian Grand Prix supercars race, and he plays a lot of Dirt 2.0 with people like Shane Van Gisbergen. You can see him P4 on the grid, and Shane last time out was absolutely brilliant. Fraser McConnell in the middle, I know, has been practicing and has been keenly checking the times of the very best sim races in the world. So Fraser McConnell setting his heights high. Henrik Krogstad is in P2 on the grid, and the World Rallycross champion Timmy Henson is on the outside. We are getting our drivers into the lobby, so we'll be holding here just for a moment. Neil, exciting times, I think.
Yeah, it's good. And just to sort of refresh how this is going to work, we've got 5 cars per race, and eventually 5 cars in the semis going through to the final. So it's going to be a split when we get to the semis and finals. So 5 cars on the grid, all lined up in a straight line in all the qualifying races.
Yeah, it's a great way to start a race. I say we're hoping we've got a few new viewers today. We're actually going out on real TV in a few countries too, not just online streaming. So esports, the growth of it, of course, thanks to COVID, but also thanks to the fact that it is just great fun. And I think if you look at the guys that are taking part in this, yeah, they will enjoy this, and certainly there'll be less pressure for them than when they're in their own drives or their various factory drives. But they do take this seriously, but also with a bit of a smile on their face. Shane Van Gisbergen did such a good job last time out. He's currently leading the Supercars Esports Series, which has been absolutely brilliant. You've been keeping up with that. He won twice last week at Interlagos. And then he was accused of not being in the car, so he said his cat was driving. We know we've seen some of that recently, but we know our guys won't be doing that today. Shane's cat could be driving. I mean, the Instagram post of the cat in the crash helmet was bang on the money. But yeah, good for Shane, sticking it back to people. He's just very, very good at esports. So you better get used to him being right up the front as he is in real life as well.
Just to flag up how good Van Giz is, he was the only one of the current pro driver lineup that made the final at Montalegre last time we'd had a World RX Esports event. He was the only pro driver in a grid of esports sim races in the finals. That shows how good he was on his first outing in World RX Esports.
Yeah, very well done by Shane Van Gisbergen. We are ready to go for Q1 race 1. So we're going to get ourselves down onto the track and launch these cars down to turn 1 for the first time for this weekend. And of course, the first in our new World RX Esports Series. So we've had those 2 invitational events before. We're now into a 4-round series starting here at Yas Marina, Abu Dhabi. You are behind Scott Pye on the pole. He's chosen to go with the GCK McGann. Next to him is Krogstad, then McConnell, Van Gisbergen and Timmy Henson. Waiting for ready to race, and then a green light. Green over on the right-hand side. Not the best start for Pye, but Henrik Krogstad with a good start. Van Gisbergen on the outside, going to cut across to try and take the whole shot. Timmy Henson runs wide. Scott Pye almost a roll. Henson cuts the corner on the inside. sideways into the first hairpin and then onto the back straight. It's Krogstad who's alongside Shane van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen's got the inside line for the turn into that tricky chicane. Got to watch those curves. It's so easy to roll the car. Timmy Henson up the inside. Well, sideways. Timmy's had contact again in the background, and it's Van Gisbergen leading from Krogstad.
Now, relatively speaking, that may have looked like carnage in turn one, but that was relatively clean. I mean, I've been in a competition here at Yas Marina on Dirt Rally 2.0, and it's always carnage. So they relatively cleanly through turn one, and now the result of any contact is spilling out as they start to stretch their legs.
So Van Gisbergen and Krogstad with a good lead. 0.8 for second in between them. Henrik Krogstad, of course, RX2 driver with Yellow Squad, which is Timmy Henson and Kevin Hanson's team. There is Timmy. Timmy running all the way out to the side of the track. Is that a bit of a cheat line there from Timmy Henson? I'm not quite sure what the stewards will say about that. He able to change the angle there, Neil, on the brakes, because it's you don't realise how hard you have to brake for that chicane at the back of the circuit until you get into playing this game. You've got to be really early on the anchors.
Really early, and then if you get it right, you can treat that uphill, downhill section almost as one continuous triple apex corner. It's a beautiful thing if you get it right. It's very painful if you don't.
Yeah, those curves are very painful too. If you get those wrong, a tiny clip on the curb here and you're definitely going over. I'm expecting Alex Day, fail race, to treat us to a roll at some point this week. Van Gisbergen's out there as well. Right, so some of these top drivers then, we know they've been practicing together. Shane van Gisbergen and Timmy Henson both using that wide line, and you can see now Neil Scott Pye, who's running behind Timmy Henson, has clocked that line. And of course, if he's been playing with Shane online anyway, yeah, these guys, they all practice together. I love the fact they're just sitting playing the game, you know, probably shouting more abuse at each other than they would on live TV. Van Gisbergen into the joke lap, coming out wide, going to go on the brakes, clips the barrier, in fact. Shane van Gisbergen clips the barrier, doesn't come out in front of Krogstad, so Krogstad now with Van Gisbergen right behind him, but Krogstad yet to joker. Van Gisbergen sideways on the way in over the curbs, just about on track limits. Krogstad sticking to the normal line, Van Gisbergen running out really wide, he's going to go on the brakes and deep in. Tuck it up underneath Krogstad. Krogstad gonna lose out when he takes the joker here, Neil, but a great drive from Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for those of you new to Rallycross, the joker lap is basically the equivalent tactically of the pit stop. You have to choose when to do it. You have to do it once per race, and by jokering early,
Van Gisbergen's gonna take it. Van Gisbergen takes the win. Krogstad coming across the line for P2. Hanson, McConnell and Pye sideways at the finish there. So it's a 2:46.491 for Van Gisbergen. I'm making a note of that because, as you'll know from previous broadcasts, me and Neil have a terrible memory for times. To be fair, normally we have a timing screen in front of us, but of course the times disappear. So that's the benchmark for Shane van Gisbergen. Haven't seen, there's no penalties applied in that one, and we are ready already for race 2. So on the pole for this one is Bill Coe. Unfortunately, we're hearing that he's potentially had the same issues that he's had last time out, which is a real shame because he's a good guy, Bill Coe. But there we go. Martin Enland in the Mini. Now, we mentioned early on, Ollie Bennett, unfortunately, has had to pull out at the last minute today. He did give us an explanation for that, and we'll let him fill you in when he's ready. So, unfortunately, Ollie can't take part in this one. And Martin Enland has very kindly stepped in and agreed to drive Ollie's car, which is great. So we're glad to see Ollie's Excite Mini in the competition. Connor Martel in the middle of the grid. Tessa Whittock out in P4. She's using Liam Doran's car, and Kevin Hansen on the outside. So I think it's going to be a 4-car grid. Should be able to head down onto the track any moment now.
And interestingly,
Kevin Hansen,
Andrew,
we know. Go on, Neil. Sorry, carry on.
From watching that first race, these guys that have been practicing a lot will have noticed that they don't get called out by their spotter or get penalised for taking that super wide line onto that straight. On one of that in the Formula One circuit, that's a really, really long straight with a DRS zone. So what's interesting is they've learned that you do not get penalised. So we should see more drivers take that wide line.
Yeah, agreed. The game has, of course, its own limits set into it, and you'll be familiar with Neil Cole's voice as the man who very annoyingly tells you that you're under investigation, Neil. Unfortunately, I hear that quite regularly because I'm not as good as these guys. But as Neil points out, they've figured out that little spot where they can manage to take a little bit more time. We're behind Tessa Whittock, who I think is actually in backwards livery, but a bad start for Tessa. Tessa drops back, so does Connor Martel. Brilliant start by Kevin Hansen. deep on the brakes by Martin Enland, but Martin Enland's got the whole shot. So Enland in Ollie Bennett's car has got the whole shot here. Tessa Witter coming behind. Kevin Henson up the inside on the exit of the hairpin, going to try and find enough traction. Surely Kevin's going to hold on now. Got to go deep on the brakes. Enland holding on though. They avoid the curbs on the inside and on the right-hand side too. Enland runs wide. Kevin Henson makes a pass. Enland a little bit too keen on turning. Martin Enland ran wide and Kevin Henson gets through into the lead.
Perfect predatory move there by young Kevin Henson. Just waited for a gap. The second it appeared, he went for it. Really beautifully done.
Now, Kevin Henson, of course, won here last year, but only after some argy-bargy in the final. There was contact, which meant that the results were changed.
Contact is an understatement, but yes, Kevin Henson won.
It was only a mild nudge, Neil. Well, compared to some of the contact we saw here in Abu Dhabi, of course, this was the scene of the nasty crash between Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backerud, which has actually resulted in the finish line being moved for this year. So the finish line will be after turn 2 in real life, but of course in the game it's as it was last season. Kevin Hansen, look at the rotation, Neil, just super smooth, and Enland now again making sure the car has got all 4 wheels faced in the same direction as they hit the gravel.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch. Hours of practice, but also natural instinct, and with neither of those things I still can't get that right, but this is how you do it. And of course, Kevin's been putting some time in across different rallycross gaming formats in this downtime. Well, a little bit of a lag problem there. I think is that Tessa?
Yeah, it's
or
Connor Martel. I think it's Connor. Connor had issues last time. Of course, Connor playing over in the States, and we're just going to have to get a better phone line installed across the Atlantic, Neil, I think, can't we, from the looks of things. It's a real shame, because I know Connor is up really early. Kevin clipping the curb on the right-hand side. Kevin Hansen going to go Joker on this lap. So let's have a look at the Joker now. Neil mentioned this. You have to take it once per race. That's in qualifying and in the semi-finals and the final. Kevin deciding to take it there. Look at that as well. Beautifully into the first corner. And using the runoff again, Neil. So as Neil, they really have figured out where you can get away with using the runoff. We see Enland, the boot is flying open on that car, the tailgate.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't actually be affecting his aero too much.
No, hopefully not. Maybe a little bit of extra downforce. It should shut itself if he stays on track long enough. And he clips the curves, of course, where we actually saw Ollie Bennett go over, didn't we, in Abu Dhabi last year. Kevin Hansen coming round on the standard lap, going to take the big jump. Target time of Shane Van Gisbergen at the 2:46.4. Couldn't be closer. Kevin Hansen takes the win. Martin Enland going to come across for P2. Brilliant him in Ollie Bennett's car, stepping in at the last minute. Tessa is out at the chicane on the back of the circuit. She's chosen backwards livery. Running the car just a little bit wide and sideways. She's used to sideways. Great drift drivers taking part in Gymkhana Grid. Also European Drift Championship up into the barriers there. Well, she get good points for that, Neil, in drifting. That was great proximity, but unfortunately in this one she's not going to make it to the finish in time. So Tessa Wittock and Connor Martel with DNFs each. That's a real shame for Connor, and we've seen the same for Bill Coe as well, who didn't manage to take the start in this one. So Kevin Hansen takes it with a 2:46.9. He is 0.5 of a second behind Shane Van Gisbergen. So 2:46.9, and we've got our next grid on the race, and our next race on the grid, and good to go. Mika Salo should be on pole, but unfortunately Mika is not with us this afternoon. Andreas Backerud is back. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Kelvin van der Linde joins us for the first time. Kelvin, South African Audi Sport GT factory driver. Fail race, Alex Day is in P4. Alex is going to need to watch those curbs if he doesn't want to live up to his reputation. And Rokas Bachuska on the outside.
It's a real shame that we haven't got Mika Salo with us. Of course, he's a very talented esports racer, as well as an absolute flying Finn Formula One legend. But I think there was a clash. But the other four should provide some very exciting racing, and it's great to have Backerud back.
Yeah, it is great to see Andreas on the line. I know you guys at home are all huge fans of the World RX regulars. Fantastic to see them going up against an increasingly diverse field from different motorsports. So we're behind Alex Day, who did roll last time out in Portugal. Is he going to avoid those curves this time? Watch for Bachuska outside him and Kelvin van der Linde inside him. Oh, it's a good start by Kelvin van der Linde. Kelvin van der Linde, has he shut the door on Backerud inside him? I think he has. Backerud, oh, deep. Whoa. Backerud goes deep into the side of Bachuska. Good save by Alex Day, just about manages to hold on. But it's Kelvin van der Linde who's in the lead with Rokas Baciuska just behind. They're going to take the wide line. They do. Backward knows it as well. So Backward's gone out there. Baciuska holding on to P2. Alex Day recovering already. Oh, Backward comes in really hot into the chicane. Just about holds on. Baciuska, of course, and Backward would be running together this year at GCK, with Andreas Backward having made the move across to the GCK team. But he needs his Monster Energy livery, so we're seeing him in the Audi that he was in last year. Alex Day gives Backward a bit of contact back. Was that thanks to turn one, Neil?
Yeah, I think it might have been a little bit of give or take, or just a little bit too late on the brakes and up over the curb. But he hasn't rolled it yet, fail race, so we'll be looking out for that to happen at some point.
So Kelvin van der Linde continues to lead from Baciuska and Backward. Backward and Alex Day in a decent fight here. There's the onboard with Andreas Backward in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Backward and Alex Day on that back straight. Andreas Backward in full concentration mode, Neil, yeah.
Yeah, he's A, fully concentrated, and B, full opposite lock at times. Drift it around this chicane. When you get it right, feels brilliant.
Yeah, when you get it right, it is tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. So Backward has jokered, so we need to see the gap now, 3.5 seconds to Kelvin van der Linde. So this could be tight when Kelvin eventually takes his joker. We certainly know that Backward could get the jump on Rokas when it comes to jokering. They've only got... who's going to joker this time? Kelvin or Rokas? Or neither? Oh, so joker.
So Kelvin's gone into... gone in the joker lap. And where's Baciuska? Well, it's just behind. So he's just in behind Baciuska. Rokas Baciuska going to hold on for a last lap joker lap. And Kelvin van der Linde, to me, is close enough, Neil, that I think he's going to get the overlap.
Yeah, the only thing that could happen here is Backward catch. Oh no, look, Backward has really caught up with Kelvin. So if Rokas is holding up Kelvin, then I reckon Backward's going to be right up behind. Andreas is going to be right up behind Kelvin by the time they get to the finish line.
So here we go. Baciuska going to have to go joker this time round. How far down the field is he going to drop? He slots off to the right-hand side, close to the curbs. I think he's going to lose 2 positions. Kelvin van der Linde going to come through. Kelvin van der Linde takes the win. Oh, Baciuska just pips Andreas Backward. And Alex Day right there as well. 2:48.1. They're close on the pace as well. So Kelvin van der Linde with a 2:48.128. Great job by him. That is, well, I don't know if it's third fastest. Of the winners, he is third quickest. But I'm not sure where the P2 guys were in the previous races.
Now, here we go then. That it's all time-based for qualifying. So if you get caught up in a squabble, it's going to affect your qualifying position.
So here we go. Time for the debut of Charles Leclerc on the inside in a Peugeot 208 WRX in white. So we know he's had the sign-off from Ferrari to be able to take part in a different car. It's a shame we don't have a Ferrari in Rallycross. Quite which model they'd offer up, I don't know. But we're up for it, Ferrari. If you want to come and join us, feel free. Esteban Guerrieri in the Seat Ibiza WRX. Of course, he races with All Inkle Motorsport normally, so he is in the All Inkle car for this one. Tom Blomqvist in the middle of the grid in the black Peugeot 208. Then Timo Scheider. So Guerrieri has a teammate kind of in this one. And then Matvey Farashkin on the outside. Matvey, of course, taking part in World Rallycross last year.
Yeah, he's a very impressive graduate of the autocross school, and he's come up to Rallycross, and he's got the skills. Of course, Tom Blomqvist, famously son of the famous Stig Blomqvist, World Rally Champion, the original Stig. And look at that, Charles Leclerc, about to launch in his debut World RX race.
So Charles Leclerc on the inside. The Ferrari #1 F1 driver about to go up against some of the World Rallycross Championships. But we've got 2 Timo Scheiders, look. So Scheider, I can assure you, is in slot #4. Looking for the green light on the right-hand side. The ready-to-race light is on. So Charles Leclerc is off to the left-hand side of this picture. We're on board with Blomqvist, and Charles Leclerc is up the inside of Blomqvist, goes deep on the brakes, so Charles Leclerc goes too late, runs the car wide, couple of people off the circuit, gets collected twice on his way into turn 2. Not sure which of the Scheiders that is. We've got Timo Scheider, he's up in P2, Esteban Guerrieri in front of him. So the two all-Incal cars out P1 and P2. Great start by Esteban Guerrieri. Oh, runs a little bit deep again, Charles Leclerc in the background. Great start by Guerrieri. And Blomqvist is in P3 trying to chase down Timo Scheider. Timo Scheider right up underneath. Oh, and he gets underneath Guerrieri on the way into the hairpin at the top of the hill, back onto the gravel section. Tom Blomqvist is right with them now, these guys holding each other up. Blomqvist, I think, goes straight to the joke lap. Charles Leclerc is right in behind Scheider and Esteban Guerrieri. So it's a great recovery, Neil, for the Ferrari man after a carnage first couple of corners.
Yeah, look, his tenacity is brilliant while the all-Incal guys have been working together. Now he's getting up inside the WTCR runner-up from last year. Really, really putting in a good elbows out, door-to-door fight. But Leclerc should get the position. But no. And then squabbling has left the room open for Matt.
Yeah, contact between them. So it's still Scheider from Esteban Guerrieri. Charles Leclerc is right there with them. Tom Blomqvist is right behind him. Blomqvist looking for a way through. Impressive car control from Leclerc, nothing less than we would expect as he taps the wall a little bit though and goes over the dirt section, over the jump. So Charles Leclerc now in clear air. Can he manage to chase down Timo Scheider, who's out front? He's not actually that far in front of him. So we know that Charles has been practicing with the likes of Kylian Del Olmo, the esports world champion for Dirt Rally 2.0. Scheider with a 1.9 second lead over Charles Leclerc, who's trying to chase down that gap, comes in sideways in the background. Scheider with a mistake in the chicane. That's an opportunity for Leclerc to try and catch up to the back of him. Blomqvist has jokered and is already right behind Leclerc as well. So, Scheider runs wide, almost into the wall. Charles Leclerc surely right up behind him now. Who's going to joker on this third lap? Does Leclerc go? He doesn't, so he stays out, Neil.
Yeah, and the good thing for Charles Leclerc is that he'll enjoy the chance to wall ride a little bit because you don't get penalised for wall riding. And here, last year in Formula One, he got a podium for a Ferrari, so I'm sure he'll be looking to at least repeat that again today.
So Scheider out front, Leclerc in behind, and then it's Blomqvist down in third place for Ashkin and Esteban Guerrieri. Good debut by Charles Leclerc so far after, I say, a little bit of contact in those first couple of corners. Timo Scheider coming through, going to try and take the win on this one, but I think Blomqvist is going to be close enough. Tom Blomqvist on the standard lap going to come across to take the win. I wonder if maybe Charles Leclerc has picked up a puncture front right there because the car was running a little bit wide, but it's Blomqvist, Scheider for Ashkin, Guerrieri and Charles Leclerc got a 10-second penalty. So I don't know if that was in game or if it was turn one, you think?
I think it was turn one because he was forced wide and he fully cut turn one. Couldn't really help it, but you will get a penalty for that.
Right, so interesting first session. Apologies, a couple of technical issues at my end. So if you want to get in touch with us on social media, you can. The hashtag, of course, is World RX. You can get in touch via Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Me and Neil are also on all three of those, but we won't have much time to look at our phones during this. So you're probably best to give the guys at World RX a shout, and they will give us a shout if there's anything that we want to read out. Neil, what was the time on that last one? Did you clock the time? I must admit, I didn't.
2:51.54. So it's the slowest of the qualifying one races. And Tom Blomqvist, a great first victory in the bag, but the times overall were slow. And Charles Leclerc will have his work cut out in qualifying two because that puts him, the penalty plus a slower heat, puts him quite far down.
Right, so let's wait and see when we've got the results for Q1, and then we'll be able to find out just where everybody is. We've got 20 drivers in the esports professional class. We've got 10 of those are going to go through to the semi-finals and 10 who are going to be knocked out. It's 5 cars per semi-final. We're not having the standard grid that we have in the World Rallycross Championship. We normally have 6 people on a staggered grid, but because of the way we're playing the game, it's going to be 5 people on a straight grid, and it will be the top 2 from each of the semi-finals which go through to the final, with the fastest of the losers from whichever of the semi-final they come. So, Neil, though, the points and the way the standings work now that we're in a championship is exactly the same as the World Rallycross Championship.
Yeah, so even though moving through qualifying 1, qualifying 2, qualifying 3, qualifying 4, even though all those grids are set, when it gets to the end of qualifying 4, the total points accrued, they're not championship points, they're just qualifying points, will decide who makes it through to the semi-finals and who goes no further, and that will decide the positions on the grids for the semi-finals. That's how it breaks down in real rallycross, and that's how it's breaking down today.
I've had one message come in already. It's from Andreas Backerud. He wasn't the first person I was expecting to hear from, but Andreas says, can you ask the fans if they have any advice how to survive turn one with so many lunatic drivers online at the same time? So I think that's probably Backerud saying he was taken out in turn one, which I think is fair enough. So Andreas is going to have to, if you've got any advice for Andreas, you can tweet him.
Yeah, it's really hard. Turn one.
Hard. It is hard. But I must say, I think particularly Andreas, which one was Andreas? Andreas was in race 3. Yeah, it was a bit carnage. We'll see. Hopefully it'll make the semi-finals. A little bit of recovery. Let's take a look at the results from Q1, and then we can see just whereabouts Andreas is. As Neil said, this is all based on time. And Shane van Gisbergen takes the first qualifying win of the World RX Esports Series. So it's first blood to van Gisbergen. Kevin Henson, P2. Henrik Krogstad, the yellow squad driver, doing a brilliant job to be up in P3. Kelvin van der Linde is 4th. Timmy Hansen, 5th. Rokas Bachuska, 6th. Backerud, despite those first corner problems, up in 7th place. Fraser McConnell is in 8th. That's great for the Jamaican. He'll be very pleased with that. Tom Blomqvist and Connor Martel at the moment are going to make it. Then we've got problems for the rest of the field, so they need to up their game if they want to make that cut-off point. You can see Connor and upwards make it. Everybody else doesn't. So fail race, Timo Scheider, Matvey Farashkin, Scott Pye, Esteban Guerrieri, Charles Leclerc. So all these people we need to see get a better result last time out. Look at Charles there with the Monaco flag. That's what we want to see. A Monegasque Ferrari legend competing in the World Rallycross Championship. Thank you very much for coming and joining us. We do appreciate it. Right, I think we are ready almost to get down to Q2, which will be cool if we can go straight on to that. I think we're all... Okay, then, on to Q2. So the grids normally are a result of Q1. We're not doing that here. The grids are set before we start racing. So it's made basically so all the drivers get an average of an inside and an outside line. And for this one, it's Kelvin van der Linde who's on the inside. Then Bilko, who we're not sure whether or not we're going to see Bilko thanks to those connection issues. Tessa Wittock is in the 3rd slot on the grid. Kevin Hansen and Henrik Krogstad.
Now, we've seen all of the drivers competing so far. So everyone has had one race. So now it's a chance for them to shake off the kind of first race nerves. Remember who does what. I mean, everyone's racing against different people as far as possible in each qualifying session. So they'll learn each other's habits as they go through the competition. But what's interesting is you've got your own ideal line. When you practice, most of the time, if you're putting in hundreds of laps, you're practicing on your own, getting the best line, nailing your apexes. Now they've got 3 or 4 other cars alongside them, all of whom want to get that line as well. That's where it gets difficult. And of course, bad behavior will be punished after the race by the stewards. But within the game, it's all or nothing.
Well, still waiting on these guys getting down to the grid for the start of Q2. 4 qualifying sessions in the World Rallycross Championship. Do let us know if you're watching at home. I know the weather's quite nice, certainly across the vast majority of Europe. We're starting to see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel as well with regard to COVID. So I know various restrictions are being relaxed in different countries. We hope that wherever you are staying safe. That is the most important thing. On to the grid then. Kelvin van der Linde on the inside. And next to him, I think, is... who's he next? Okay, I'm a little bit lost because we're missing a car. So Kelvin van der Linde on the left-hand side of your picture. Blake Williams is missing. On the outside, so only 3 drivers showing in this. So Henrik Krogstad on the outside and Kevin Hansen. That's what's tripped me up. Tessa is missing from this one as well. So Tessa and Bilko both out of this due to connection. That's a shame. And it's Kelvin van der Linde who gets the whole shot. Kevin Hansen in a battle with Henrik Krogstad. Krogstad, of course, going to be run by the yellow squad this year in RX2, so he won't upset the team boss, Neil.
And this is particularly interesting because I was watching on Twitch yesterday, I think it was, that Kelvin van der Linde was actually practicing with Kevin, and Kevin is Henrik's team boss. So these 3 should really be sort of looking out for each other and just trying to get the fastest qualifying time rather than taking each other out. Joker
Or
for
mistake
Kelvin.
by Kevin Henson. So Kevin Henson with a bit of a mistake there. Kelvin's gone early Joker, which is an unusual tactic from the lead, but comes in just 9/10 of a second behind. Kevin Henson now under pressure from Henrik Krogstad. Krogstad maintaining that standard line, Neil, and so's Kelvin van der Linde, so they're obviously feeling that it isn't any quicker.
Yeah, I suppose it's all about what your angle into the tight left-hander that comes in off the main straight. If you want to get an extra wide line in, then that, you know, handbrake on maybe, but it doesn't seem to be that much quicker.
So into the Joker lap went, who was it that went? Was it Krogstad or Kevin Henson? I think it might have been Kevin Henson's gone in. Krogstad, okay, my bad. It is indeed. There is Krogstad. Krogstad comes out behind. So Krogstad's behind. So Kevin Henson now has been given clear air, Neil, to get the hammer down. You'd fancy that he'd managed to gap it, but Kelvin van der Linde is going well here. He's only 2.0 behind. I must say we haven't really got our heads around exactly what the difference is between the standard lap and the Joker lap, but you're going to find out at the possibly on this lap. Do you think Kevin will wait for the last lap? I think he will.
Yeah, I definitely think he will, because he'll want to nail at least one perfect lap here before then he has to go for this. No, he's gone Joker.
We're both wrong. That's fine. That's that's what we're here for.
It's not like anyone's going to pick us up on that.
No, I'm sure we won't get any abuse. And he still comes out in front. So Kevin there we are. So, okay, so Kevin actually with 8/10 of a second, he only had 2. So assuming he maybe made up another couple of tenths at the back end of that lap, Neil, it's only looking like a Joker difference of around 1.2, maybe 1.5 seconds. So it's very quick.
Yeah, it's certainly less than 2 seconds, which is a surprise. But it does give you extra speed coming out of the Joker onto that an extra bit of straight. So maybe that's what he was going for.
Kevin around that tricky dirt right-hander. That's where the incident was last year. He comes down to take the flag. Kevin Henson crosses the line. It's a similar time to last time. There it is, 2:47.2. So a 2:47.2 for Kevin Henson. Just looking back to see how that compares. Shane van Gisbergen won Q1 with a 2:46.4. And Kevin last time did a 2:46.9. So he's only 0.3 of a second slower than he was last time out. And that's without getting the whole shot. Straight on to Q2, race 2. Tom Blomqvist is on the inside. Scott Pye next to him. Then Alex Day in the middle. Matvey Farashkin and Martin Enlund.
A real range of cars this time. A lot of people have gone for the Peugeot 208. Sort of copying what he's having. I'm having that.
Well, yeah, when you see the esports guys later on, you'll realise why they're all choosing the Peugeot 208, that's for sure. Martin Enlund, very impressive indeed, subbing for Ollie Bennett. I say Ollie unable to take part today. He did let us know in time, so thank you, Ollie. Much appreciated, and great for Martin stepping in and giving up his day. And do remember, guys, all these drivers are giving up their time to come and entertain you. You know, they're not contractually obliged to go and do esports, and we really appreciate them, particularly those that have come from other championships. You know, who are coming just basically for a bit of fun and to entertain you guys. We really do appreciate it. So thank you. Right, what can Blomqvist do from the inside? And what can Enlund do from the outside? Martin Enlund, very impressive last time. Scott Pye, too, was fast. We're in the middle of the grid behind Alex Day. So you can see to the left Scott Pye, to the right Matvey Farashkin. Look for the ready to race light. It's over on the right-hand side under the Cooper tyres branding. It'll go orange and then that will go out to random gap until the green. Here we go then. Oh, and I think it's a jump start by Fail Race. I think that's a jump start, so everyone else will have to go with him unless he was incredibly quick on the lights, Neil. Although sometimes we get a delay on the lights. Yeah, we maybe get a delay on the lights compared to the feed contact there sideways at the hairpin. So a cut across the hairpin as well, which could unfortunately result in a penalty, which would be unfortunate. But it is Martin Enlund who's got the whole shot, with Alex Day behind. Alex pushing into the back of Martin there. Thinks better of it, runs a little bit wide, gets a little bit of contact. Farashkin trying to find a way through. Runs deep again and runs sideways. Scott Pye going to go up the inside of Alex Day. So Scott Pye sideways, has to straighten the car up, not to go over those huge curbs. And then around the right-hander, and Alex Day's going to go straight to the Joker. And Neil, I think that's pretty sensible. Also gone into the Joker was Tom Blomqvist. So Tom Blomqvist and Alex Day jokering after quite a bit of contact on the first lap.
Yeah, I think they're smart there to try and stay out of trouble. Tom Blomqvist, of course, won his qualifying one race, but there's a little bit of elbows out in this one, so he wants to stay clear of any of that. In terms of Alex Felrace's start, I think that he might have just guessed it, just let go of the handbrake on. If he didn't, if it was a jump start, that's an instant 20-second penalty. So we'll know straight away at the end of the race.
Yeah, I must admit, I was waiting for a green, but you know, as we say, sometimes you just get a slight difference in what we've seen and what they've seen in terms of the return on the feed. So they'll all get the green light at the same time. But super close there, Alex Day and Scott Pye. Scott just managed to get the better of him. Scott Pye, fantastic transition of weight, gets the car straight early, and you can see the difference there as he exits the hairpin in front of Alex Day. Just gets a little bit more legs on him down the straight. Again, flicks the car around. Great car control, Neil.
Yeah, beautifully done. Of course, not a huge amount of sideways in what he would normally do in the day job, but a chance to flex those muscles and show off those skills here.
Alex Day up on the curb. Scott Pye side by side with him. Alex trying to find a way through. These three guys of Joker. Martin Enland's gone Joker as well. So Enland has gone Joker out front, leaving just Matvey Farashkin to Joker on the final lap. So we're on to the final lap now. There's a fair bit of debris in the track as well, so I'd suggest there's some contact, and there is. Blomqvist and Farashkin. So Blomqvist on the inside here. Farashkin, you can see, trying to find a way through. Farashkin hasn't Jokered though, and Blomqvist has. I'm sure that's where the debris was that we saw in the previous shot. Martin Enland is in third place. Matvey Farashkin, I think, will lose out on third. He's just got 1.6 seconds to try and hold on from Enland, and he makes a mistake, so Enland is right on the back of Farashkin now. Farashkin going to go Joker. Here he goes off to the side. I reckon Scott Pye might get him as well. Over the jump into the wind comes Blomqvist. Martin Enland's going to get P2. Farashkin sees Scott Pye sideways across, but it's Scott Pye gets a 5-second penalty, so there wasn't a jump start. That's our bad. Alex Day with just a fantastic start. Scott Pye with a 5-second penalty, and I think, unfortunately for Scott, that's where he got pushed off in turn 3. And that is just one of the unfortunate things about the in-game penalties, is Scott there given a 5-second penalty because of being pushed to the inside in turn 3. On then to Q2, race 3. Fraser McConnell on the inside. Next to him, Charles Leclerc. Fantastic. Works factory Ferrari driver here from Formula One. Timo Scheider, who is good mates with Leclerc as well. Then we've got Timmy Henson and Esteban Guerrieri on the outside. So what can Charles Leclerc do this time from P2 on the grid? Fraz won't let him off easy on the inside, I know that, and I've actually seen a cheeky bit of practice footage of well as Timo Scheider and Charles Leclerc coming together. That was just sent to me on WhatsApp a few moments ago by one of our driver stewards, so I'm not expecting these two, who are quite friendly, to give each other much space in this.
I'm just trying to work out if Charles Leclerc and Timmy Henson would have crossed paths maybe once or twice in single-seaters, you know, as teenagers, coming up through the ranks to their differing paths, one to World Rallycross and one to Formula One. If anyone at home can point to any stats where they may have been in the same karting or early Formula Renault championships, that'd be interesting.
Here we go then. All eyes, I think, on Charles Leclerc in P2 here. Going to try and get the whole shot. We are behind the Ferrari legend. I think it's fair to call him a legend. I know he's early in his F1 career, but big hopes for this young Monegasque man. To his left is Fraser McConnell, and to his right, Timo Scheider. It's a great start by all three of those drivers, but a better start on the outside by Timmy Henson. Going to try and get to the first apex first. Fraser McConnell goes over. McConnell with a roll in turn 1. Timmy Henson drops down from P1 down to P4. Into third place, Charles Leclerc. Behind him, we've got Scheider and Guerrieri again with identical cars. Absolute nightmare for me and Neil. Don't know which one of them it is who's into the door of Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc runs wide after a bit of contact. And again, we see contact between them. So Scheider, we have actually seen a number change, I think, on the side of Guerrieri's car in between the sessions. Timmy Henson down in fourth place, 2.8 off the lead. Fraser McConnell somehow, with the roll in turn 1, is out in the lead, Neil. We might see a penalty for that because of the track cutting, but we'll see. Timo Scheider in second place into the Joker lap. Who's gone Joker? Charles Leclerc. So Charles Leclerc has gone Joker, and Timmy Hanson's gone with him. So we've got the best. Oh, contact into the back of, I think it was Guerrieri. So into the back of Guerrieri at the Joker lap merge, and that's cost Charles Leclerc. I was really looking forward to seeing one of F1's best drivers against the World Rallycross champion. He's still got a chance to catch up with him. Neil's going to have to push hard, though, if he wants to close Timmy Henson down.
It almost looked like Charles Leclerc was trying to go for the Formula One line and sort of go straight on at that the chicane rather than taking the left-right. But he certainly carried way too much speed and used Guerrieri as a kind of break.
Well, unless Guerrieri was slow on the line. Who's got Fraser McConnell on standard. Timo Scheider's gone joker. So Scheider has gone into the joker lap now, close to the curbs, too close. 2 wheels by Scheider, just about holds onto it. Timo Scheider up on 2 wheels. Charles Leclerc behind him, having jokered. Esteban Guerrieri at the back of the field. Timmy Henson is in P2, but he's 3.9 off the back of Fraser McConnell. Neil, what do you think is going to happen to Fraz? Because he rolled in turn 1. And by the way, Fraz, look at the pace of the guy, absolutely flying. But there's just that question mark over whether or not who caused the turn 1 incident, Neil. This might be one for the stewards to look at after the race.
Yeah, of course. With the in-game, he'll probably get a penalty for corner cutting, but just for me, it's a hero move. It reminds me of Colin McRae in the X Games. Rolls it,
yes.
Oh, it's back on 4 wheels, get back into gear and carry on. It's a brilliant hero move, but it may cost him, unfortunately, just because he was forced to cut the corner.
So Timmy Henson has managed to close down Fraz just a little bit. Fraser McConnell, I'm sure they'll be going mad in Jamaica. Charles Leclerc with interesting use of the curbs on the inside. Far more curb than he could take in his Ferrari, but enjoying seeing him here. I'm loving his pace as well. I just want to see him get a clean run and a little spin there in the chicane. So not ideal. Out front, Fraser McConnell and Timmy Henson battling for the win in this qualifying race. Q2 race 3, flicks the car around to the right-hand side. Fraser McConnell going to come up over the jump down towards the start-finish line. It's McConnell who takes the win in Q2 race 3. The time is good. Henson showing us the winner, so McConnell's been given a penalty. Henson shows us the winner. I'm confident McConnell's been given that penalty that we thought he would get. Scheider coming across, and there it is, he does. So unfortunately for Fraser McConnell, a 5-second penalty, which we're pretty sure will be for the roll and corner cut in turn 1. Timmy Henson takes the win with a 2:48.7, which I'm going to scribble down now. And that's there we go. We're going to move on straight away to the next race. So Conor Martel on the inside for the final race of Q2. Mika Salo's not with us, unfortunately. Shane Van Gisbergen, the winner of Q1. So currently the man who's sitting in TQ, that's top qualifier if you're not familiar. Rokas Bachuska and Andreas Bakker, who messaged me after Q1 and said, send me advice, people. I don't know what to do to get through turn 1 in one piece. So let me see what I've got. I've got people in America who are sending me messages, watching with coffee, strong coffee. We've got people over here in the UK. We've got Team Henson who are pleased about the result. Oh, they're accusing us of being rusty. Team Henson, are Neil? That's out of order, isn't it? That must be because we got something wrong. Well, there you go. Well, fair enough. Okay, we're ready for the final race of Q2. I say we did have a few technical issues in Q1, so sorry for that, but we're glad to be back up to speed here in Q2. Onto the line, backward on the outside line. Can he get a good start? Or will he be beaten by Bachuska just inside him? Van Gisbergen with a great start. Bachuska left on the line. So Van Gisbergen versus Bakker down towards the first corner. Good start, and Van Gisbergen does get it stopped in time. Bakker clean as well. Conor Martel at the back of the pack. So Martel was further up the order than I thought last time. It may be that he's got some lag issues, which is meaning he's seeing the green light slightly differently. So we'll have to watch for Martel's time at the end of the race to see what the position will be. Oh, Bakker runs the car a little bit too deep. Look at Van Gisbergen, though. An absolute masterclass as Bachuska is now piling the pressure onto the Norwegian in front of him. So Bachuska right behind Bakker, but Neil Van Gisbergen here could be on to win Q2. Imagine if he took a clean sweep.
Yeah, I mean, he has been so good, and his debut in Montalegre last time, with just everyone kind of looking at each other going, how is he this good? And now he's just proving that it was no fluke. And he's got that perfect sim racer style of fully backing it in sideways, making the most of the physics of the game, which wouldn't necessarily be quickest in real life. But
the
nice to see a nice clean turn 1 on this one as well. Bakker was worried about how to do turn 1.
It got through it clean this time. Very impressive by Van Gisbergen as well to be across the different styles of the different games and the different disciplines. You know, he's leading the VA Esports Series. Fantastic job on that double win last week, and anybody was questioning whether or not he was driving the car. You need to take a look at this and see just how good this guy is. The one thing, Neil, that did occur to me after Portugal is I'm desperate to see Van Gisbergen in a real rallycross race. Any of these guest drivers, but the guys who do particularly well, I don't know, it just makes you excited, doesn't it? I wonder what they might do if we manage to get them in a supercar.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'd like to see any of these in a real rallycross race, full stop, including our current champion and runners-up.
Yeah, very much. We're really hoping to get the World Rallycross Championship back underway. Take a look at FIA World RX's various different social channels and you'll see that a revised calendar was published. At the moment, of course, we're hoping with the developments with COVID in Europe and across the rest of the world that we will be able to get underway in August at the famous Hollier circuit. We should have been getting underway. Of course, well, we would. Last year we got underway at Abu Dhabi. This year Abu Dhabi was going to be later in the season. Look at Bakker, and he goes in full concentration mode, Neil. I really like seeing the look on people's faces because you don't realise, do you, when he concentrated that much. He's kind of buried his chin back because he's got his head right back in his sim seat, hasn't he? You can see just 2 fingers on the paddle shift for Bakker, a bit sideways on the way. And Bachuska in his door. Rokas Bachuska in his door. And Bakker is up on 2 wheels. You can see he turned his head to the side, lands the car on 4 wheels. I didn't even spot a swear there, and I definitely would have sworn if that was me, Neil. But Bakker just straight back on it. Down the gears and away. Van Gisbergen going to cross the line to take the win. Bachuska going to get 2nd place. Andreas Bakker with the roll, having clipped those curbs. Seeing Bakker across the line now. And here we are on board with Conor Martel. So Martel, we need to know whether or not he's got those lag issues that we think he might have. We saw his car fading in and out last time. He's definitely got some problems. And again, you can see here from the way the picture's acting, that's due to the connection. So Martel will cross the line and that will generate the time for us. But definitely some problems for our American friend, who is, of course, the ARX2 champion. 2:44.1. That... So we're going straight on to Q3. Going to try and make up some time from those issues we had in Q1. We'll bring you the results, but I can tell you straight away that a 2:44.1 means that Shane Van Gisbergen has won both sessions and will be at the top of the table. Brilliant job by him. Henrik Krogstad, Tessa Wittert, Tom Blomqvist, Fraser McConnell and Charles Leclerc are in this one. So because of the way these grids are run, so you see some of these guys almost in back-to-back races. We know that Fraz and Charles have not had much time in between these last 2 races. We're behind the Ferrari man now. No sponsors on the car. That's obvious. These guys are under, in F1, the contracts are super strict. So we're just very grateful to have him here with us. Come on, Charles Leclerc down towards turn 1. What can he do this time? Green lights, a better start by Fraser McConnell on the inside, but he can back up now and see what happens. Does come across to the inside. 4 cars run wide. Charles Leclerc moves up. Oh, contact from McConnell. Charles Leclerc gets pushed wide. Out front, it's Krogstad with the whole shot. Bit of contact again behind Tessa. Wittert gets a nudge from the F1 legend. Wittert goes up the inside. Tom Blomqvist is in 3rd place. Fraser McConnell 2nd. Oh, and it's going to be contact again. So Tessa Wittert was on the inside there, and for me, Blomqvist drove straight into the side of Charles Leclerc. Up the inside, Charles Leclerc rolls the car. Charles Leclerc rolls the car back onto 4 wheels and goes again. Yes, that's how we do it in Rallycross. Come on, Charles Leclerc. Around at the top corner, still trying to find a way past. This time he does get through, so Tom Blomqvist drops back, nudges the wall. Charles Leclerc with a legendary roll and carry on move. Brilliant from the Ferrari F1 star.
Oh, that was so cool. He probably actually took out a DRS activation sign on the Abu Dhabi Yas Marina straight by rolling over it. And of course, no penalties for that either.
He's been beaten up though, Neil, by Blomqvist in the hairpin. So Charles Leclerc, after that brilliant move, gets a little bit of contact. Tess Wittert, you can see down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. She's out there in the backward liveried Audi P5 currently. Tessa having a proper concentrate as well. I love it. It's fantastic when they look back. It's so great to see it. I know I pulled faces myself, so don't worry. We fully understand how this works. Charles Leclerc using every single inch of the circuit. Out front then, Henrik Krogstad and Fraser McConnell, 2 drivers from RX2. Fraz, of course, ARX2 champion last year. Conor Martel was ARX2 champion the year before. So we've got the very best of our RX2 drivers here. And Fraz, of course, taking part 2 in RX2. In the World Championship. I know how much he was looking forward to taking part this year. He might actually have somewhere new to practice soon, but we'll let Fraz tell you about that. So around the long left-hander onto the gravel section. Good performance.
Everyone's left it very late to Joker.
Yeah, well, they've split
That's
the strategy
first
at least.
Joker.
Yeah, they've split the strategy at least, our 2 leaders. Sometimes you see the leaders just play it safe because racing in qualifying is about qualifying time. Oh, contact again. Leclerc gets a little push from the back. So Blomqvist and Leclerc have had loads of yes, go on, get in. Charles Leclerc gets stuck in and gives it back. He's learnt the ways, hasn't he? And has pushed Tom wide. I wonder if Tom's going to give it back to him with the chicane. There's been
well, he may not be in his Ferrari, but
them.
Charles Leclerc is definitely seeing red there.
Yeah, he is. Oh, Tessa Whittaker, who's a lap down there, running a little bit wide. Henrik Krogstad goes to the joker lap. Fraser McConnell behind, comes sideways into view. McConnell on the standard line. Over the line, though, who's going to get it? It's Krogstad from McConnell. Charles Leclerc is in the joker lap. Huge roll in the background there for, I think it was Tessa Whittaker. Charles Leclerc comes across to take fourth place behind Blomqvist. And Tessa Whittaker going to get fifth. Wow, welcome to Rallycross. Charles Leclerc, thank you for coming. Tessa still with a lap to go, and front right puncture or broken steering maybe for Tess. Have a look at the front right corner here. You can see the sparks coming off the rim, so definitely not going to make it. Unfortunate for Tessa. Puncture has cost her any hope there. 2:47.9 is a good time by Henrik Krogstad. 2:47.9.
Crucially, no penalties there.
Yeah, and straight on to race two then. Tom Blomqvist on the inside, Scott Pye, Alex Day, Matt Veyfarashkin and Martin Enland across the grid. We're hammering through this nice and quickly. Try and keep everything on time for you guys at home.
I'm just wondering if that's the correct quali 3
race two. Yeah, it's Q3, guys. So top left, ignore that. It's Q3.
Timo Scheider, Timmy Hansen, Kelvin
Yes,
van der
it
Linden,
should.
Casala.
Neil's right. The grid is from Q2, and in fact, this is what you're going to see because, of course, we are missing. Okay, I'm now.
There should be Enland, Scheider, and Hansen.
Kelvin. So who's missing? Are we missing? Mika Sala, we know he's missing from the outside, but we're missing one more as well. I think we're missing Timo. We're missing Timo Scheider.
Timo.
So Timo Scheider's not on the grid here. You have to forgive our confusion when people lose the connection. Kelvin van der Linden, you're on board with a great start. Timmy Hansen is just to his left. Who's going to go last on the brakes? Hansen shuts the door on Enland. Oh, van der Linden all the way around the outside. Enland just about manages to hold on. Brilliant, clean start by these three. Timmy Hansen rotates the car around on the handbrake on the inside line. Martin Enland then trying to shut the door on Kelvin van der Linden. Van der Linden is right behind him. Can't find a way through here. If Enland runs just a tiny bit wide, he will. But I have to say, Martin Enland really impressive me, Neil, until he hits the curve and runs the car up just a little bit too high.
Yeah, what a real shame. Those massive orange curbs that we see put in specifically for this event at Yas Marina, they are huge. I mean, most people who know me know I'm not very tall. Those things come up to my thigh. So if you clip the curb too much on the inside, you're very, very lucky if you do not roll it.
Yeah, they are big. I believe they might be slightly modified as well this year when we head back to Abu Dhabi. Hoping to have a double header down there with the real World Rallycross Championship. Martin Enland just 1.3 seconds behind Timmy Hansen. Judging by the pace of, I think it was Kevin earlier on today, there would be enough time to take a joker. Kelvin van der Linden just nudging up over the curbs.
Anyone who's actually been in a lobby and played any of this game, Dirt Rally 2.0, and raced against others, it's such a relief when you look either side of you and see there's only two other cars, because then you can go through turns 1, 2 and 3 like these guys did as cleanly as possible and have a chance to put in a good time. Makes such a difference to have a reduced grid like this. So although it's a shame that a couple of our drivers dropped out, for these three, massive advantage.
So Timo Scheider is unfortunately had a problem with getting into the lobby. So Timo was doing really well, and he's I think a little bit disappointed, but there you go, just sent me a message. He'll be back out hopefully for Q4. Round that long left-hander, Martin Enland. Kelvin van der Linden behind. Timmy Hansen's taken the joker, going across the line with a lap to go. 2:06.4. He's chasing that incredible time. Well, so at the minute, Krogstad leads this session Q3 with a 2:47.9. But 2:44.1 from Van Gisbergen, Neil, is absolutely epic. And at the minute, Van Gisbergen, for me, is very much my favourite for the win with the pace he's had.
Yeah, I mean, that was 2.5 seconds quicker than his own fastest time. So if Timmy can get close to that, then that's a real marker.
Timmy onto the gravel section around the right-hander. He has had a relatively clean run here, so you'd like to think that he would be able to get close to that pace. Coming down to cross the line. He's very close to it indeed. I reckon it's a 2:44 for Henson. Martin Enlund going to cross the line for P2. Kelvin van der Linden, it is 2:44.6. So Timmy Henson, the World Rallycross champion, answering the question in emphatic style. 2:44.6 is just 0.5 of a second behind that incredible time from Shane van Gisbergen in Q2. So the world champion strikes back. Will it be enough to win Q3 and see him move up the order? Well, Shane van Gisbergen's going to be able to respond immediately because Q3 race 3's up next. Esteban Guerrieri is on the pole. Shane van Gisbergen next to him. Then Kevin Henson. Usefully, those two in the same car. That'll be fun for us, Neil. Connor Martel out in P4 and Scott Pye in P5 in the Renault Megane. So Scott's been doing well, but like I say, we've had a few of our debut drivers have been a little bit unlucky for my liking today. But it's been great to see their pace. Let's see what happens in this one. Can van Gisbergen get the jump again? Going to be tricky, I think, with Kevin Henson next to him. Here we go. Okay, so missing from this one is Connor Martel. Connor Martel is missing, I'm afraid. So Scott Pye moves into slot number 4. You are behind Kevin Henson. Shane van Gisbergen is to his left in the identical car. So Shane van Gisbergen looking for a better start than Kevin Henson in identical cars. They've been practicing together, we know. There's Guerrieri, bottom of the screen, and van Gisbergen gets the best start, shuts the door immediately on the inside. Gonna hope he doesn't get taken out on the brakes. Super close between him and Kevin Henson. Oh, Shane van Gisbergen with a fantastic hole shot. Oh, behind, bit of contact there. Guerrieri into the side of Kevin Henson. This is what van Gisbergen needs to try and break that train behind him and get away. But Kevin Henson looks to have got the better of him. Scott Pye up the inside of Guerrieri. Contact with Guerrieri, runs the car just off the side of the circuit. You saw bits of mirror flying off. So into P3, Scott Pye holding on. Kevin Henson P2, but 9/10 of a second up the road already is Shane van Gisbergen, the winner of the first 2 sessions, Neil.
Well, it's impressive what he can do, especially that this is against Kevin Henson, who's put in so much time on the sim. Meanwhile, it's an Aussie versus an Argentine, a V8 driver versus a touring car driver for the 3rd and 4th spot in this race.
So there is Guerrieri at the back of the packs. It's van Gisbergen with Kevin Henson. It's 1.1, so van Gisbergen has taken another 0.2 of a second off Kevin Henson. Kevin will be trying so hard to keep up, but van Gisbergen here is laying down a marker. Imagine if he wins the V8 Series Esports and then can stay with us long enough to win our Esports Series as well. It's going to be carrying on for 4 rounds. Norway's next on the 21st of June, then Sweden, and we finish off the season down at Cape Town for Esports. Van Gisbergen backing it into the apex, just making it look very easy, isn't it? It's 1.6. Van Gisbergen's taken another 0.5 off Kevin Henson, who was 3rd place in the World Rallycross Championship last year in Kevin's car. So Van Gisbergen's on a mission. Look how much of the road he uses, Neil, on the far side there. He's literally hugging the barrier.
Well, it's very hard to get your braking point and turn-in point for that left-hander into the infield, so he's doing his best to take it as wide as possible to flatten that corner, and it is working. Look at this performance.
2.2 seconds, another 0.7 of a second. So Shane van Gisbergen's going to go joker with a lap to go. Surely Kevin Henson doesn't follow him. He does. So Kevin's gone with him. I would have stayed out in the standard lap, but Kevin, I think, fears that he's been beaten in this one anyway. So he might as well follow van Gisbergen. 2.5 seconds now the gap. So Shane van Gisbergen, this is an absolute masterclass on driving a World Rallycross car around the Yas Marina circuit. Look how close he is to the barrier. It's so hard to judge it like that. And every time these big transitions he's making, the big weight transfers are just absolutely bang on the money. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the esports guys going as quickly as this. Shane van Gisbergen doing a fantastic job. He had a podium last time out in the Invitational from Portugal, and now the New Zealander star of Aussie V8 Racing is going to take the win here in Q3. What's the time going to be? I think it's a 2:43. I'm pretty sure he's got it. Kevin Henson gets 2nd. Scott Pye going to get 3rd. Guerrieri is coming down now to take the checkered flag, and then we're going to see the result. What has van Gisbergen done? It is a 2:43.7. He responds to Timmy Henson and goes faster again. So a 2:43.7 is the fastest time of the weekend so far, and that sees Shane van Gisbergen at the top of the Q3 standings with 1 race to go. In that final race then, Andreas Backerud on the pole, Alex Day fail race next to him. You've got Rokas Pachuska in the middle of the grid, Matvey Farashkin, and unfortunately, I don't think we'll see Bilko lining up on their far side of the grid. What a shame.
Yeah, it would have been
Wow.
nice to see the motocross legend transfer beautifully to four wheels, but again, the connection is not working. But I'm impressed by the Kiwi. Gears is pulling it out again. It wasn't a flash in the pan at Montalegre. If anything, he's got better.
Yeah, amazing. Maybe this circuit suits him a little bit more, Neil. I always think Montalegre is very, very tricky. So this one a little bit more tarmac racer style, and Van Gisbergen is doing a brilliant job. Did a brilliant job last time, and this time absolutely killing it. So one of these guys is the only person who could potentially take away a clean sweep so far from Shane Van Gisbergen. Here we go. Look for the ready to race light over on the right-hand side. Matvey Farashkin is on the outside. Next to him, Bachuska. Bakarud on the inside. It's a good start across the grid. Where's Andreas Bakarud? Is he up the inside of Alex Day or not? He is. Andreas Bakarud's right on the inside line. Hits the curb, though, and gets knocked back into P4. So Bakarud goes from P1 to P4 with a bit of contact on the curb. Parts of cars are flying again. Farashkin's up the inside of Alex Day. Alex Day runs wide. Bakarud will look to make a move on the brakes at the end of the straight here. Runs the car all the way across the barriers again. Going to bring it in, carry a little bit more entry speed. Bakarud is hunting now in front of him. Bachuska has the lead. Bakarud's in the wall on the inside. Alex Day climbs the curb. Over on the next part of the chicane, it's Bachuska from Farashkin, Neil.
You've got to wonder if Andreas is going to bin this lap, go to the Joker and just try and put in 3 clean laps after this, because he's got nothing else he can do. He's just going to catch it. Yes, he is in the background.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have done as well, Neil. I know it was Alex Day. So maybe Bakarud then saw Alex go in front of him, and Bakarud feels that he can come out and maybe find the air he needs to catch up. But Alex Day's been pretty quick, Neil. Of course, he's our one YouTuber sort of sim racer pro who's remained in with the pro drivers this weekend. Grateful to have him along. So he managed to roll it, which is his pièce de résistance, and he managed to roll it last time out. So far, we haven't seen him do that here. So Alex Day doing a great job. But in this one, not quite such a good job as Bachuska, who leads from Farashkin.
I wonder if Bakarud has picked up a bit of damage from when he went head-on into those tyres, because on this game, you can see some of the damage, but it might have bent his steering slightly.
Bakarud with the wastegate chattering away as he turns into that chicane. Sideways on the entrance, trying to get the car straight and get on the gas early to carry as much speed as possible down this long straight before the big braking zone. But at the minute, Bakarud only has a 1 second gap over fail race Alex Day, and so he'll lose out potentially when the Jokers play out. It's 1.3 now, so Bakarud is just edging away. He's just edging away a tiny bit. We know Kevin managed to do it in 1.2, I think it was earlier on. 2.1 seconds is the gap from Bachuska back to Farashkin. Rokas Bachuska making a brilliant debut last year in the World Rallycross Championship. Switching teams, he competed with the Skoda here at the start of the season, had a couple of events off, and then switched to GCK, where he's going to remain this year alongside team boss Gulan Shishirit. But unfortunately, I say we haven't seen any action in real World Rallycross just yet, hoping to get back to it as soon as possible. There's Bakarud into the chicane. Alex Day, though, has made up some time because Bakarud... Matvey Farashkin, look, has dropped right down to 4th. So what happened to Matvey, Neil, in the Joker?
Yeah, I've not seen him. We've been focusing on Rokas and then on these two. A little bit of oversteer there from fail race, but yeah, we didn't see what happened to Matvey.
So Bachuska's taken the win. Fail race is going to come through. Is he for P2? Bakarud goes Joker and then P3. And here comes Matvey Farashkin. So Rokas Bachuska with a 2:47.9. It's good, but it's not good enough because it's Shane Van Gisbergen again, who has done an absolutely fantastic job in that session. Unbelievable. Neil, for me, I mean, it was... Okay, we knew Shane Van Gisbergen was going to be quick, whatever he was in. He was very quick in Portugal, but now he's here. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is total and utter pure dominance.
Yeah, he is smashing it. And one thing about the Kiwi is that he was, as I said earlier, he was the one pro driver that made it into a final full of sim races back in Montalegre. So he's good. He's put in the time and the hours in the simulator, but he is particularly good here. And like you mentioned, this is a circuit that does favor a circuit racer a little bit more maybe than a rally driver or a pure person who's used to the feeling of dirt under the wheels. This has got a lot of tarmac, and even the dirt itself doesn't have a huge amount of a slide to it. So maybe, just maybe, we're seeing gears come of age here. Incredible.
Yeah, great performance so far. We haven't seen the results since Q2. I think we're going to have those for you very shortly before we hit the final qualifying session. But we think Shane van Gisbergen has won all 3 sessions, looking at the times. We didn't see any penalties or anything applied outside of the game, but we're waiting for confirmation of what the results are after Q3. We've got 1 qualifying session left to go, so there's 4 races in that, and that will decide which 10 drivers make it through to the semis and the finals. And of course, we've got semis and finals for our professional drivers, which are in this category, and also for our sim racers, who are pre-selected from the very best players of Dirt Rally 2.0, including, of course, both the Dal Olmo brothers, who you've seen in the previous invitational series races that we've done as well. So I'm keen to see, Neil, Shane van Gisbergen's in danger of being moved across to the esports drivers. Like if he's this quick, there'll be a protest. Right, we've got the standings. Here we go. Let's take a look at the standings.
It becomes a handicap for you.
Yeah, they'll chuck him out. Let's take a look at the standings after Q3 then. Here we go. What have we got? Shane van Gisbergen is on for a clean sweep. Now, a clean sweep in the World Rallycross Championship would mean winning all 4 qualifying sessions, the semi-final and the final. It would be epic if he can do it in esports. So that would be the first time anyone's done it in the esports series. It was backward, wasn't it? It was the first person to do it in real life. Kevin Henson and Timmy Hansen, P2 and P3. Bachuska's up in P4. Henrik Krogstad is in 5th. Kelvin van der Linde is in 6th. Fraser McConnell and Tom Blomqvist in 7th and 8th. So we've got 3 drivers there, look, in the top 8 who are making it through on their first attempt. Martin Enland and Fail Race. So Fail Race looking to make it through at the minute. Matvey Farashkin, Andreas Backer, Scheider, Pai, Charles Leclerc, Esteban Guerrieri. All these guys need a spot of luck and maybe some bad luck for their competitors in the final session. Here we go. Q4 coming up. Okay, grid for this one then. Timo Scheider on the inside. Matvey Farashkin, Henrik Krogstad, Charles Leclerc, and Fraser McConnell. Oh, it's rain. So rain has been selected in the afternoon here at Abu Dhabi. Neil, we didn't see any rain when we were there, did we?
It's very unusual in the desert of the United Arab Emirates, but on the game, it happens frequently, and it makes it very slippery.
Yeah, I like it. I'm excited. Here we go then. Charles Leclerc, what can he do in wet conditions? Will it fare better for him? We're behind him on the grid. Is that a jump start? Was it just a great start by Henrik Krogstad? Remember, it's wet. He might have chosen to start in anything up to 3rd gear. Charles Leclerc runs a little bit deep, manages to stay on the circuit. It's Timo Scheider who's sideways in front of him. A little bit of contact. Fraser McConnell into the back of Matvey Farashkin. Oh, Charles Leclerc gets pushed a little bit wide. No fault of his own. Going to have a look at the inside. Charles Leclerc trying to pass. Fraser McConnell, Timo Scheider and Matvey Farashkin come together on the brakes there, and they push themselves wide. That gives Charles Leclerc just a little bit of breathing space. Now he's having a look up the inside of the Jamaican. Fraser McConnell in the Fiesta trying to hold off an F1 legend. Leclerc up the inside. Fraser McConnell gets a little bit in the door from Charles Leclerc. Going to go down around to the right-hand side. Gets the car side where Charles Leclerc goes Joker. So straight onto the Joker lap for the Ferrari F1 driver. Good tactics, and Neil, not too much time lost on that first lap. Oh, passes Scheider on the brakes again. Scheider with a mistake on the standard lap. He's a lap down and the Joker down.
So that was very sensible, and the spotter would have told Charles Leclerc to do that, but he did it anyway, and the slingshot out of the Joker meant that he knew his instinct would have been that he could have passed Timo Scheider, the DTM star, and get out ahead so that he can actually start closing the gap to Fraser McConnell up ahead.
Yeah, so Scheider, not a lap down, my bad, a position down and the Joker down. So it's quite unusual to lose your place like that. Timo with a mistake. It's a real shame, because I know how hard Timo's been trying to get on the pace, and we're very grateful for his support as well. He's been practicing with Charles Leclerc as well. So how far back is he from Krogstad? Krogstad out front has got a 2.2 second lead over Fraser McConnell. Charles Leclerc is just 1.6 seconds off the back of Fraz. There is Fraser, bottom right of your screen. Pretty sure it's fairly early in the day over in Jamaica. Fraz with full concentration mode on. The gap now still 1.3 at the moment. So Charles Leclerc super tidy on his run into the chicane, close to the barrier. Charles Leclerc is closing the gap down. He's taken 3/10 off Fraser McConnell on this last sector. Up into the braking zone. Nose of the car runs wide. Charles Leclerc having a look up the inside again, keeping it tidy. Does he lose momentum on the exit? It's a second still the gap, Neil.
Yeah, he did check up a little bit too hard on the apex, the top of that little hill, and that has given a little bit of advantage back to Fraser. Fraser didn't joker, so he's confident that he will be able to joker on the last lap and stay in front of Charles Leclerc.
Henrik Krogstad has jokered, look, and he's still in front, 9/10 of a second. Charles Leclerc showing himself in the mirrors of Fraser McConnell. McConnell goes sideways. Could be a chance here for Charles Leclerc to make up a position. McConnell's got a joker anyway on this final lap. So Charles Leclerc now needs to just keep his head. Let Fraser McConnell joker in front of him and he'll easily take that position. Don't get tangled up here. He's up on the curb. Charles Leclerc in the wet, slippery conditions here at Abu Dhabi. Going to go straight on over the jump. That's something we'd like to see introduced into F1. Over the finish line, Henrik Krogstad. Charles Leclerc going to take second place, his best performance in a qualifying race. Verashkin gets third. Krogstad's been dropped down. Leclerc's won, so Krogstad has been knocked down. Was that a jump start? It was. Henrik Krogstad. Charles Leclerc takes a win in the World Rallycross Championship Esports Series. Brilliant for the Ferrari legend. 2:57.6. Remember, it's wet conditions, so it's that little bit slower, but brilliantly played out tactically and with the driving as well. It's a win for the Ferrari driver. Okay, then this is where we find out whether or not Van Gisbergen can do the clean sweep. Shane Van Gisbergen on the pole, having won all 3 sessions. That's where he wants to be, is on the pole. Random grid's really, really lucky for him to be on the inside. Kevin Henson is next to him. Then it's Martin Enland. Bilko will be missing, we think, and Connor Martel on the outside. Will Connor be there or not? Let's take a look. We're going to be able to head down to the grid pretty swiftly.
Should be wet again, equal conditions for everyone. But if we are losing Connor and Bilko, then there's a breathing space for all 3 of these, especially Shane, who will welcome a clean 3-car grid. There we go.
So Shane Van Gisbergen then with the perfect opportunity, just as Neil said, when you get a low car count, it's a bit of a result. But Kevin Henson and Martin Enland, I have to say Enland, who we're behind in the Excite Mini. Another quick well done to Ollie Bennett for looking after the National Health Service here in the UK with some drinks during the course of this pandemic. Sorry you're not with us this weekend, Ollie. Oh, it's a brilliant start by Van Gisbergen on the inside. Enland and Kevin Henson left standing at the line. You're on board now with Shane Van Gisbergen round the right-hander, feeling his way for the grip levels. We're not sure what the pace of the track is in the wet. I'm sure he'll have done some practice. Enland trying to find a way through from Kevin Henson. Fantastic graphics. A shout out to the guys at Codemasters for this brilliant game, Dirt Rally 2.0. Also, of course, to Monster Energy Gaming, Motorsport Games, Cooper Tyres and Game Bite. We're really grateful for your support with the World RX Esports Series. And Neil Cole, this is a hell of an opener, isn't it, for Shane Van Gisbergen in terms of that series?
And what I can see here is that the only marker he's got in the wet so far is a Charles Leclerc race-winning time of 2:57. So if he can beat that, and I'm sure he will, then that will be the time to beat, because that's the only marker we've got in the wet so far.
Yeah, so of course we've got Timmy Hansen still to come, Andreas Backert, Scott Pye, Guerrieri, Bachuska, Fail Race, Blomqvist, Van der Linden and Whittaker all going to be taking part in the next 2 races, the final 2 races, the qualifying session. And can any of them beat Shane Van Gisbergen? But he's got to hold on to it for another couple of laps yet, and in these wet conditions it's nowhere near as easy. The car moves around so much more. Cooper Tyres, who of course supply the tyres to the World Rallycross Championship, involved in the development work with Codemasters to make sure that the tyre handling model was improved, and it certainly was. Of course, we had Dirt Rally, we then had Dirt 4, Dirt 2.0, in fact Dirt 5 has been announced recently as well from fantastic Codemasters, who also make the F1 game, which features this same circuit as well. So brilliant stuff from them, and great to have Cooper Tyres taking part and making sure that everything is exactly handling as we would like it to do.
Kevin Hanson's currently approximately 4 seconds off the back of Gears. Now he has jokered, but that joker's only about 1.2 seconds. So this is a lead of 3 seconds we're looking at, approximately, when it all plays out.
Let's see how long the joker is in the wet, Neil, because Shane Van Gisbergen's gone in there now. The gap was 4.2. Van Gisbergen's going to come through using all the road, the curb and almost the wall, and he's significantly in front. It's 2.5, so what, 1.7. It's only half a second slower in the wet than it is in the dry. This is just an epic performance, Neil. You know, if the bookies were open, I think I might have a tenner on this.
Are we allowed to bet?
No, I don't know, actually. Well, maybe we should keep quiet about it. I mean, you know, we don't want to end up in some scandal, do we, mate, where we've been laying the cash down on Shane Van Gisbergen or his cat. You know, it's
might throw in a couple
just
of bitcoins into the pot, see what happens.
Yeah, good lad. Come on. So Shane Van Gisbergen coming round to take the win. What's the time going to be, and is it going to be enough for a clean sweep? It's certainly a clean run Kevin Henson comes across the line in P2. Martin Enlund going to cross the line in third, and this is going to be the target time. It was a 2:57 from Charles Leclerc, and it's a 2:48.7. So 2:48.7 is the new target time to win Q4. Can Shane van Gisbergen take a clean sweep at the Yas Marina? On then to Q4 race 3. Alex Day on the inside, Rokas Baciuska, Esteban Guerrieri, Mika Salo's not with us unfortunately, and Tom Blomqvist on the outside.
Just for context, 2:48.7 was Timmy Hanson's time in Q2 in the dry. That's how much these guys are improving with track time, but also just how good Shane van Gisbergen is.
Yeah, he's very good indeed. Very good. Remember, you can get in touch on social media. We're just waiting for the guys to get into the pre-grid, or as we like to call it here, the lobby. Well, they're in. They're on the grid. We're good to go. Wet race again, as we know. Conditions the same for everybody. Q4 race 3. Baciuska to your left. So we are with Esteban Guerrieri. To the right-hand side is Tom Blomqvist. And on the pole is Alex Day. Looking for that green light. There it is. Great start by Alex Day and also by Baciuska on the inside. Baciuska going to have to slot in behind. He'll hope that Day's going to run wide. Alex Day doesn't. He climbs the curb on the inside, gets collected by Guerrieri. And then Blomqvist into the back. Neither anything that either those two could do with Alex up against the curb. He was just trying desperately not to roll the car because those curbs are proper launchers. Guerrieri round the outside, going to try and pass Blomqvist on the brakes into the chicane, but he can't see a way through there. So it's Baciuska out front, Neil, and Baciuska, we know, he's very quick on these tarmac type tracks. He did such a good job at Loiac last year in real life, winning a session and taking the P2 during qualifying. So can Baciuska spring a surprise here and stop the clean sweep from Van Gisbergen?
Yeah, not that Rokas, the Rocket Baciuska, needed any help, but fail race, Alex accidentally hitting that curb and making himself a kind of bollard, slowed up Tom and Esteban behind him, which means that Rokas has just got a chance to feel his way around this wet Yas Marina circuit and put in the best time possible.
Well, that's what Guerrieri's trying to do as well, isn't it? So Guerrieri with a couple of mistakes. He's quite sideways here, quite early on the handbrake. Can probably carry just a little bit more pace. Baciuska looked absolutely inch perfect, doing a great job holding on to that car in the wet conditions. In towards the apex. Going to try and swing the car around to the right-hand side. Rokas Baciuska with a couple of laps to go. Only Esteban Guerrieri has jokered already. Alex Day holds on to second place, 2.3 seconds back. Is it a shame for Alex in turn 1, Neil, wasn't it? Just with that slight mistake heading in towards the curbs, and you do have to abort. You can't just drive over them, not even in a rallycross car.
Yeah, you've got to click, click, click into reverse and carry on again. There's no way you're driving over it from stationary.
Baciuska successfully avoiding the curbs at the back of the circuit. Perfect line, just nudging the curb on the inside. Alex Day pretty close to a similar line as well. 2.4 seconds back. Blomqvist is just 1.3 off the back of fail race. So in fact, Blomqvist... okay, Alex Day, fail race, goes into the Joker. On clips that same curve that caused him problems earlier. So Tom Blomqvist is past Alex Day, but Blomqvist is 3.2 seconds off the back of Baciuska. And Neil, we think the Joker in the wet's about 1.7, don't we?
Yeah, it's looked consistently from the first 2 races at about 1.7. I'm not sure Rokas he might be able to do it a little bit quicker. Either way, he should still come out in front by a second at least.
Baciuska on his final lap must take the Joker this time round into the right-hander. Accelerates across the tarmac section. Oh, clips the curb. Dicing with danger there. Rokas Baciuska up on 2 wheels. Just holds on. Gonna take it, but it's around the 2:55 mark, so he's not going to trouble Van Gisbergen's time. So Guerrieri going to cross the line. And there we go. So showing Blomqvist took it. So what happened there to Bachuska? Okay, so that must be an in-game glitch. Blomqvist showing as the winner. So potentially they saw the green light at different times. We'll let our guys at Motorsport Games sort out the differences there. Final race of qualifying. Tessa Wittek on the pole with Timmy Henson, Andreas Bakkerud, Scott Pye and Kelvin van der Linde. So Henson and Bakkerud to do battle where they had that contact last year at Abu Dhabi. Scott Pye and van der Linde will be hoping for a clean run. Tessa Wittek as well. She won't want to take out Bakkerud. Two Monster Energy athletes in this one together. And in the same car, Neil. Ideal.
Amazing. In the wet as well. Cat amongst the pigeons, I tell you.
So Bakkerud versus Henson. What are they going to do down at turn one? Can Andreas get a good start here? Ready to race light comes on. So Audi versus Peugeot on the run to the first corner, waiting for the green. Oh, Bakkerud, not quite such a good start. It's only a tiny difference in it. Kelvin van der Linde on the outside, going to shut the door on Bakkerud. Surely Tessa Wittek is that, or is that Bakkerud from the back of the pack? Can't tell the difference between the two. Hanson's got the whole shot with van der Linde behind. And we've got Bakkerud is up in P3, so it's Bakkerud and Scott Pye. So Andreas Bakkerud is the first of his two cars that are identical. Bakkerud going to run out wide. Timmy Henson trying to come across. Scott Pye's got through to the lead with all those little bits of contact. Timmy Henson up the inside now, going to take the lead back again. Scott Pye 3 wide through that chicane, up and over the curb. Timmy Henson with Kelvin van der Linde in behind. Bakkerud right behind Scott Pye. Can't quite find a way past. He'll have a look at the hairpin, surely. Scott Pye sideways, Bakkerud trying to go around the outside. Andreas Bakkerud should go Joker here for my money. Try and take some time out of them. He does. So Bakkerud goes Joker, maybe loses a little bit of time on the way into there. It's Scott Pye with Kelvin van der Linde just in front, Timmy Henson out front. And I think that's the right tactics, Neil Cole.
Definitely, Bakkerud was smart there because he was going to be held up by Scott Pye. The first 3 or 4 corners, Scott managed to make that car about 5 cars wide somehow, not letting anyone past. But once you got into the tricky dirt tarmac chicane, this chicane here, that's when Timmy and Kelvin made their move. Very smartly done. But they will
Timmy
have lost some time.
He's going to be looking to chase that time. Shane van Gisbergen on the 2:48.7. Remember, this is the only race in which Shane van Gisbergen can be denied a clean sweep of at least of qualifying. Can he get a clean sweep of the event? Henson coming round onto his lap 3. As we see in the Joker, Scott Pye crosses the line. He moves on to lap 3 as well. So Scott Pye's Joker and has still got Bakkerud behind him. So, Neil, that's basically a tactical Joker to keep the driver behind you, isn't it? Even if you don't think you're as fast, if you Joker before they've had time to make that time up, you can block them.
Yeah, but we're seeing quite a big gap there back to Bakkerud, so I'm wondering what's happened.
Well, up and over the curbs then for Scott Pye. Andreas Bakkerud and Tessa Wittek trying to chase him down. Timmy Henson goes Joker on his 3rd lap. So Timmy Henson into the Joker lap now. Sliding the Peugeot round, just about holds on to it, puts it out on the paint. Back in towards the apex, just nudges it again. So Timmy Henson 2:13.9.
And the South African Kelvin van der Linde followed him through the Joker, so that's interesting. He clearly saw the best tactic for the final lap was just to stay on Timmy Henson's tail.
So Timmy Henson at the front, Kelvin van der Linde behind. Timmy Henson is chasing that time, 2:48.7 of Shane van Gisbergen. Can he get it done or not? It's going to be a sprint to the light. It's not going to be near enough. At 2:48, it's up already. So Shane van Gisbergen has 1 Q4. It's a clean sweep of qualifying for the New Zealand Aussie V8's driver. Timmy Henson takes the win here, but it's not enough to deny Van Gisbergen. That will put Van Gisbergen on pole for semi-final number 1. Kelvin van der Linde and Scott Pye have crossed the line in P2 and P3. Andreas Bakkerud coming through for 4th place, and Tessa Wittek out on the back chicane, I think it is. Yep, so Tessa trying to bring that car around. We've got 10 seconds to go. She's not going to make it before the clock runs out. So there we go. Timmy Henson with a 2:53.6 is around 5 seconds off the pace of Shane van Gisbergen. I don't know whether or not we've got time to take a quick look at the results or not. We're going to try and get those together for you. So we've got just an hour of action still to come. We've got semi-finals and finals for both the professional drivers and the esports drivers coming up for you. Neil, great qualifying session.
Oh, amazing. I mean, we expected the candidates to get through, like Timmy, Kevin, But Shane van Gisbergen, the Giz is the absolute star of that session. And of course, Charles Leclerc jumping in. Probably, we haven't seen the results, but he will not have qualified for the semi-final. So thanks to him.
Well, great driving from all of our drivers. And I say, whoever's made it and whoever hasn't, we're very, very grateful for them all taking part. We saw a little bit of rain in qualifying. Are we going to see any for the semi-finals and the finals? We'll be racing under the floodlights at Abu Dhabi. We hope so. So stay with us. We've got semi-finals and the finals are coming up next. We are in the closing stages of our first round of the World RX Esports Series. We've had a couple of invitationals, and we're now moving on to an Esports Series 4 events. We're starting in Abu Dhabi. We'll be heading to Norway, Sweden, and then down to Cape Town as well. And I believe some of you guys are joining us in South Africa now live on television, so hopefully you'll be with us for these fantastic semis and finals. If you've missed qualifying so far, we've seen an unbelievable performance from Shane van Gisbergen. The New Zealander Aussie V8 driver has absolutely smashed it. He's beaten Charles Leclerc, the F1 driver. He's beaten the top 3 in the World Rallycross Championship. It's just been an incredible performance. Can he carry that on in the semi-finals and the finals? My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary is Neil Cole. We've had a brilliant day so far. Neil, well, he's a weapon, isn't he, eh?
That Kiwi is extraordinary. I mean, the Gears, we knew he was good. When he joined us from Montalegre for his RX Esports debut, he was the only pro driver to make it to the final full of sim racers. Now we've separated the two fields into sim racers and pro drivers. He's still delivering, and he's showing the World RX regulars a trick or two out here on the Yas Marina circuit. It's amazing.
Yeah, he certainly is. And as Neil said, we've got a new format now with 2 different classes. So we've got 20 pro drivers in the one class who do the full qualifying through then to semi-finals and finals. And when we say pro drivers, we mean drivers from real-life motorsport with the occasional VIP guest. And then we've got 10 drivers, and they are the very best from Dirt Rally 2.0. But I'll tell you what, I'll be surprised if they can match the times of Van Gisbergen, because he's been absolutely epic. There are even rumours he's going to get chucked out into the esports crew. He's so good at this. So let's take a look then at the standings after Q4 and ahead of the semi-finals. Here we go. Shane van Gisbergen with the clean sweep. Absolutely epic performance. 50 points in every qualifying round. That gives you the points total down the side. If you're new to Rallycross, we have 4 sessions. They're scored on points. They're scored by time. So if you win the session with the fastest time, you get 50 points. That then sets us up for the grid. So our top 10... the odds will go to semi-final 1 and the evens to semi-final 2. Kevin Henson, look, with 3 P2s, manages to nick second place from his brother Timmy Hansen, who only got 1 second place. Rokas Bachuska, 4th. Kelvin van der Linde, Henrik Krogstad, Fraser McConnell, fail race inside the top 8. Who are the final 2 to make it? It's Tom Blomqvist and Martin Enland. Matvey Farashkin and Charles Leclerc just missing out. But we are so grateful to both Charles and Ferrari for allowing him to come and race with us here on the Esports Series for the World Rallycross Championship. Great to have him along. Scott Pye, Andreas Backer, Timo Scheider. Timo was really unlucky with a connection problem in Q3. I think he would have made it otherwise. Esteban Guerrieri down in 16th there. So the all-in cool guys together in P15 and P16. But we have our top 10 odds to semi-final 1, evens to semi-final 2. So I think we're doing esports semi-finals first, aren't we, Neil? So we're going to have to introduce everybody to some of our esports drivers as well. Now, you'll be familiar with some of them if you followed the World Rallycross Championships esports invitationals. We had one from Barcelona and one from Portugal. And basically, those events were just for us to see, you know, how's this going to work out? We got some brilliant partners with Monster Energy Motorsport Games, Codemasters, of course, who make this fantastic game, Dirt Rally 2.0's Cooper Tires, Game Bite. So, you know, we thought you might like it, but it turns out we like it enough to do a series with 4 events. And we've got this category now for esports drivers as well as the real drivers. And Neil, the esports drivers will put on a hell of a show because they are so consistent.
Yeah, they put in hundreds of hours in the simulator. They really do practice. Some of these are, most of them are pro sim racers, but that in this esports category. So they will just teach the real life drivers a thing or two, but it was a little bit intimidating in the first 2 rounds that we did of this for the our real field of World Rallycross to have the sim racers in there. So now we've separated them so that we don't scare off any of our real life racing drivers.
Here we go, semi-final time. So first semi-final then. On the pole, we have Lucas Mateja. You'll be familiar with him. Very quick indeed. Got P3 in Barcelona in the Invitational. Made the semis last time out. Kylian Del Olmo. Been testing with Charles Leclerc this week to try and get him up to speed. Very kind of Kylian. He is the world champion set esports driver. So he drives for the esports team that's from Gronholm RX's team. Jared Pesch in the middle. So Jared Pesch from Australia, esports driver. And then John Harris, we've got in the fourth slot with the red Peugeot, made it to the final stage of the Dirt Rally 2.0 World Championships. And Clara Anderson, another set esports driver who competes in Swedish junior rallycross in real life. So all these drivers choosing Peugeot 208s. And as they are the esports professionals, I think you can tell that that's maybe the preferred car in this game. Here we go. I'm glad to see they're all in the cars we're expecting them in, Neil, because 5 Peugeot 208s is making our job complicated, but they've all gone for the colours they said they would. Mateja on the inside, and Kylian Del Olmo, we know, of course, both have form. This is Clara Anderson, the set esports driver on her esports debut, competes in a BMW 1 Series. In Swedish rallycross, left at the line, unfortunately. You can see, though, the way the other cars are ghosting out. Potentially, she had an issue there at the start. It's Mateja with the whole shot. Kylian Del Olmo right behind. Then John Harris, P3. John Harris goes up deep. Oh, super sideways by Mateja. Kylian Del Olmo sticks to the standard line, trying to stay on the inside. None of these guys using the cheat line. Look, they're all on that standard inside line. Del Olmo back in the car in towards the apex. Can't quite find a way past. Lucas Mateja clips the barrier on the inside. John Harris there to try and pick up the pieces if he can. Jared Pesch and Clara Anderson, P4 and P5. Neil, super clean start from these guys. And again, that's just the amount of practice they have.
Yeah, but interesting, like you pointed out, they're not taking that wide line onto the straight. Jared Pesch, of course, one of the winners of one of the Solberg World Cup events recently. So he's very much a rally esports sim racer. So transferring those skills to rallycross. But Mateja versus Del Olmo is a matchup that we've seen over and over and over again.
Mateja's gapped him, look, by 1.1 seconds. So Del Olmo, the Dirt Rally World Champion from Dirt Rally 2.0, won that this year at the Autosport Show. I was lucky enough to be there live for our land final with Motorsport Games. Brilliant event on a huge stage at the Autosport Show. We were all looking forward, weren't we, to such a fantastic season of motorsport, and unfortunately we've had an intervention which has meant that hasn't happened yet. But we're soon hoping to be seeing the likes of Charles Leclerc and all our World Rallycross stars out competing in F1 and Rallycross and everything else we can manage to shoehorn into what's going to be a very busy, short season at the end of this year. We've still got our fingers crossed it's going to happen. I hope you guys are staying safe at home. Mateja leads from Kylian Del Olmo and John Harris. You're looking at Jared Pesch, who's 4.3 seconds back. Clara Anderson, a further 2.7 off the back. So close. Look how close Del Olmo is, but he's 1.1 seconds off Neil. So he's not having that gap extended on him. Remember as well, it's 6 laps for the semi-final. Just one joker on there, but a good job by Mateja to keep that gap maintained.
Yeah, 6 laps for the semis, which gives them a little bit more chance to choose their strategy, when to take the joker, depending on the gaps to other cars, etc. And remember, in this format, top 2 automatically go through to the final. Then it's the quickest across the 2 semi-finals that goes through to the 5th place in the final. So this is all about coming across the line in 1st or 2nd or quickest 3rd.
Yeah, and I think this one is, for me, this is a very clean race so far, isn't it? John Harris down in P3, 3.7 seconds off. Would be hoping if he can keep it clean, and he's jokered as well, so he's going to be closer than that to Del Olmo when Del Olmo goes, and one of the front 2 has gone. Is it Del Olmo? Oh, they've both gone. They've both gone joker. So Mateja and Del Olmo have both gone joker with 2 laps to go. So Mateja and Del Olmo, the gap is 1.4 now. So Mateja has just managed to get 0.3 of a second more. Now, Neil, we've seen our real-life drivers chucking the car sideways. You've also mentioned a couple of times, obviously, there are certain things in a game, if you play it enough, you can start to exploit the dynamics a little bit. And I think it's fair to say, if you watch the esports drivers, you can see a difference in the way they approach, particularly the hairpin in the stadium section.
Yeah, there's so much more give in the physics of the game. You can really throw it in sideways, and depending on the very fine line in terms of track limits and how many tyres you've got over the line, whether you'll get a time penalty or not, just pushing those limits and getting within millimeters of the game, you can get it exactly right here. Backing it in fully knows that it's quicker on the game than it would be in real life.
Yeah, Martel now 0.9, so Del Olmo is managing to close the gap down, but it doesn't matter. Martel could be just taking it slightly steadier, so he doesn't make a mistake on this final lap. They've had random grids for this one, because of course they haven't done the qualifying stages, but then from round 2 onwards, when we head to Norway on the 21st of June, their grids will be generated by their championship position. So they're going to get points. 6 points here will go to Martel for winning semi-final 1, 5 to Del Olmo, 4 to John Harris. Pesh is going to come through in 4th and Clara Hansen in 5th. They will be out. John Harris may make it through, depending on whether or not his time is quickest of the losers. So 4:05.3 is John Harris's time. I want to make a note of that because that's going to make a difference. And 4:03.3 is the time of Martel for winning the semi-final. And I want to see what their times are like compared to the times of the pro drivers. Now, we've got a couple of guys in here who you could argue are pro drivers. So John Armstrong and Matthias Adilson. John Armstrong was P2 in Portugal on the invitational round. And, of course, Matthias Adilson won the first round in Barcelona. But these guys are so good at the esports. John, of course, is Dirt Rally 2.0's development driver, and Matthias Adilson actually made it to the final stages of the Dirt Rally 2.0 World Championship. Both of them, of course, are real-life World Rally drivers. They are R5 cars, R2 cars, World Rally cars. They're very good at both, but we felt with their expertise in esports, it was better to have them in this side of the field. So I hope you can understand that decision. Quinton Del Olmo on the inside, brother of Kylian Del Olmo. In the middle, Jami Kaliamaki. He's actually substituting for Tommy Howman. So Tommy Howman is another one of these set esport drivers, but he is on his Finnish national service, so can't be here this weekend. Nigel Cross on the outside. So Kaliamaki, what can he do? Comes from a Rallycross Academy and RX2 background, as does Tommy Howman. Of course, in fact, the winner of the Dirt Rally 2.0 Rally World Championship this year was also on his Finnish national service. Turned up with his head shaved at the Autosport show. So there's something about Finland, isn't there? A national service and dirt rally, definitely. Perhaps it's what they do when they're not out doing the training. John Armstrong in full VR mode, bottom right of your screen. You're behind Jami Kaliamaki, heading down towards turn 1 on the inside. Quinton Del Olmo looks like he's going to get the whole shot. Runs the car a bit deep into turn 2. Bit of contact behind him, up and over the curbs, contact. Jami Kaliamaki is in second place. John Armstrong moves him out the way. That was quite fierce from Armstrong there. Adilson in P3. So Matthias Adilson having a look to try and pass John. Contact between them or not? No, I think Armstrong just backing it in. Quinton Del Olmo, though, super clean and tidy up front. Oh, that's Adilson coming down under attack from Jami Kaliamaki. Kaliamaki gives it back straight away. I think, has he given the... No, he hasn't given the place up. So Adilson's dropped back. So fair play to Kaliamaki, nearly struck back there after a bit of contact in those first couple of corners.
Yeah, no kind of rookie nerves there. He's very, very strong on the track. And it's interesting to watch John Armstrong's body language in his virtual reality headset, looking sideways to check through the side windows every time he's throwing it sideways and having to reach back for his handbrake every time he comes up to a little dab of handbrake to turn the car in. Brilliant.
Well, that's what's so good, of course, about the VR headsets. If you've got a 3-screen setup or a curved screen setup like a lot of these guys have on the Sims, you can take a look at your peripheral vision and see whether or not there's a car alongside you. If you're playing like I am on a controller, you have to give the old sticker tap and have a look to the side, and I haven't got time for that in turn 1. I've barely got time to hang on to it. But with a virtual headset on, you can literally look to your left and right and see where the other cars are. And having done a few rallycross starts myself, that's how you do it normally, having a look to see where the other cars are. So Armstrong going full VR mode with the headset on. Great to see that feature supported by Dirt Rally 2.0. Kaliamaki still chucking it sideways. Has he gone a bit too deep? I think he has. Nigel Cross going to get up the inside. So Nigel Cross looking to hold on to that P3. He's already joking as well. Goes a bit deep, but I think he'll hold the position just up and over the curb. Brilliant move. Nigel Cross with a move there from the hairpin all the way up through the chicane. Matthias Adilson now behind Jami Kaliamaki. I don't think he'll show much mercy here. Can he find a way through Kaliamaki? Well, he's found a way through him somehow. Neil, I don't know whether that counts.
Yeah, that's
literally through.
Yeah, he literally drove through him. Nice to see Nigel using some of his serene logic that is his gamer tag there. He just breezed past in a very, very impressive way.
Yeah, smoothly done, wasn't it? Just kept his head. Quinton Del Olmo, 3.6 seconds ahead of John Armstrong, who has jokered. Will Quinton joker this time and give himself a couple of laps where he can chill? Or is he going to wait for a joker right at the end? Watch for the split. It's to the bottom of this hill. If he goes right, he's going joker. If he goes left, it's standard lap. He goes standard laps. And Neil Quinton is perfectly comfortable that he can nail the laps and just go joker maybe on the last one.
Yeah, I presume he'd keep it till the last lap, although there is that effect of keeping speed, slingshot out of the Joker to get extra speed for his final lap. So if he were to Joker on this lap, it would just be to put in an even better time on lap 6.
So Quinton Del Olmo putting in a stellar performance here. No mistakes that I've seen so far. I'm keen to see what his time's going to be. We saw Matasia win the first one in a time of 4:03.3. But of course, Quinton Del Olmo was the winner, and he goes Joker on the second to last lap. He won in Portugal. Can he win again here? And these guys will also be doing 4 rounds, so I'm sure we'll see some drivers drop in and out of the field through the course of the series, particularly if any real-life motorsport starts to happen again. I know some of these guys will be a bit busy. I'm sure Charles Leclerc will be on sim duty pretty soon, Neil.
Yeah, they'll be back to action and visor down, focusing on the seasons ahead, whereas these guys are already in full season mode. But as predicted, Quentin did take a penultimate lap Joker just to try and get the best lap on lap 6 with that slingshot out of the Joker to get a little bit more speed over the start-finish line.
There we go. What was the timer? It was pretty, I think it was a 4:04 if I had to guess it. Del Olmo and John Armstrong. Matthias Adelson aiming for that next runner-up spot, but I don't think he's going to get it because P3 was a 4:05. He's not. So Adelson with a 4:11. He's not going to make it through. It's going to be the third place driver from Semi 1 that goes through. Quinton Del Olmo and John Armstrong have gone through in P1 and P2, but a 4:04.1 for Del Olmo means that he will be in P2. I think he'll be P2 on the grid. But either way, super close, Neil, between Matasia and Del Olmo in those 2 semi-finals. The times were really, really level. But interesting to see that Semi 1 was so much quicker in P3. And there was a lot of fighting in Semi 2. We enjoyed it. But maybe not so quick for the drivers when you're looking for that runner-up spot.
Yeah, of course. It's only the runner-up spot there that the time is important. And we've now seen, I think John Harris should take up the 5th place on the grid in the final because that race was cleaner and faster for them, a bit more rough and tumble as we saw throughout race semi-final 2.
Okay, so we are going to have a bit of a chat. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things, actually. And I've just noticed you can see my dog's bed in the bottom of the corner here, which is not as impressive set dressing as you, mate. I can see a checkered flag.
That was your dog. I thought that was your bed, Golan.
Well, I could, to be honest. I could. I'm not quite that tired yet. But yeah, you've dressed your set nicely, Neil. Like, where's the pottery gone? Have you moved it all away? I mean, Neil normally has a backdrop and hides stuff behind it. But today we've got some art. What are they, stormtroopers behind? Yes, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, I bought that in Japan about 15 years ago. It's one of those drapes. When you walk into a Japanese noodle bar, there's always a tradition or a tea shop that you walk through and it's supposed to mean something. I can't remember what it means. Apologies, cultural sensitivity. But that was one I bought. It was a special Star Wars celebration. So yeah, that's hanging there. As you can see, the sun has moved around my house since we started.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking. I'm not going to. It's sunny here as well. I'm quite looking forward to getting out in the sun after this. I did toy with the idea of setting the studio up outside, but it's a bit hot, to be honest. I don't really think my neighbours, who are all on lockdown, want to hear for 2.5 hours about a load of rallycross cars. What terrible taste by them. They should want to see it, of course. So, yeah, okay, cool. So we're getting ourselves ready for our semi-finals with our pro drivers. We've got, let's have a look at social media, see what we've got coming in. There's Tierney Oliver's been in touch. Tierney says he'd like to see, ever heard of him, Neil? We are aware of Tierney. He said, can we get Henson Motorsport? Can we give him a shout out, basically say they've got to give him a wild card in this year? And I think Shane van Gisbergen does need to have a wild card this year. What do you reckon? Can we force the Henson to do it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure there'll be a car for him. And, you know, we just need to see if the skills he's got in the game transfer to the real world, because if they do, he could be a clean sweep like we saw Kristoffersen historically and Bakkerud do in Norway a couple of years ago. I mean,
well,
that's
take
really
a look
impressive.
at this, because we've got some replays coming up so you can see what the skills of Shane van Gisbergen were like during qualifying here from Yas Marina. So we saw some great racing. Scott Pye making his debut here. We had a number of drivers making their debuts. And I say we're very, very grateful for them coming along and taking the time to take part with us. But Shane van Gisbergen out the front there, look, got the whole shot here. Despite a little bit of contact, manages to hold on. Up the outside, Krogstad maybe at the start, was it? And it was here, look, on the exit. Just a wonderful driver. Neil, Yeah, brilliant time by him. We thought, okay, great, but it just went on and on.
Yeah, this wasn't ever going to be a fluke, but just how much better he got race upon race was extraordinary.
So this was his, he'd taken his joke already, of course. Krogstad hadn't. On board now with fail race down towards turn 1. Various selection of racing for you. And this was how not to do turn 1. I think this might have been when Andreas Backer had got in touch via WhatsApp and said, can you ask the fans for some advice for me on how to get through turn 1 unscathed? So, yeah, there we go. He unfortunately, he did have a few little incidents. Esteban Guerrieri, Tom Blomqvist joining us for this one as well. But on the outside, the inside, the man everyone was looking to see was Charles Leclerc. So the Ferrari F1 #1 driver now, not a retired driver, remember. This is a guy who is racing for Ferrari, taking time out to come and race with us in the World Rallycross Championship. Neil, he spent the week practicing, didn't he, with the likes of Kylian Del Olmo and trying to make sure that he was up to pace. And he was up to pace. I feel like Charles was a little bit unlucky in qualifying today.
He was definitely unlucky. I mean, he's proved himself to be a very talented sim racer, and he sort of knows this circuit very well, of course, because it's a Formula One Grand Prix circuit also. But yeah, fair play to him for actually having a go in the RX Esports Series and trying this out and not scared to make contact, as we saw there.
No, he gave some back, which is what we like to see. But more than that, you know, not scared to come and put his reputation on the line. You know, we know what drivers are like. Everybody's, I don't want to do it if I'm not going to be very good. He was very good. I say we're super grateful that he came and did it. That was, I think that was at Baccarat, or was it Tessa? I'm not sure, doing the roll and continue. We saw the same from Fraser McConnell. McConnell on the outside here. He rolled in the previous race. Charles Leclerc with a bit of contact again. And you see what I mean about him just being a touch unlucky, Neil. And that's rallycross, isn't it? Very much. It doesn't, even if you do everything right, it sometimes just doesn't go your way. Okay, Christopherson maybe proves that wrong with 11 out of 12 wins a couple of years ago. And there's the Clerk with the rollover as well. So, I mean, it was just brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah,
I mean, it's so good to see that he can roll a car, get it back on 4 wheels, plunk it back into gear and carry on and just have some fun, as well as actually being pretty competitive.
So, yeah, great fun. Thank you very much for Charles Leclerc, along with all the other drivers who've come and joined us. And we hope we'll see some of them for further esports rounds. I know we mentioned this on the previous events, the Invitationals. Obviously, not all the drivers can make all the rounds. That's fair enough. You know, they're here volunteering their time for us, and they have their own commitments, whether that be professional driving or their personal lives. So I hope we'll see as many of the drivers as we can continue through. But thanks for coming and taking part, truly. And please drop them a message on social media if you've enjoyed what they've done as well. Did you think they were, you think they were turned over in turn 1? Were they mugged? Let them know if you think it wasn't fair. You know, we want you to get in touch. # World RX across the usual 3 social medias. So we saw the one race there from Shane van Gisbergen when he won Q1, and he in fact went on to win all of the qualifying sessions, even the one in the wet in Q4. So it's him who takes the pole in semi-final 1. So Shane van Gisbergen on the pole in his Peugeot 208 WRX. Can we persuade Henson Motorsport to get him out in a car later this year? I really hope so, because epic performance here in Dirt Rally 2.0, and I think Shane van Gisbergen will be quick in real-life rallycross as well. Next to him, he's got Timmy Hansen, the FIA World Rallycross champion in an identical car. Kelvin van der Linde, South African GT driver, is in the middle of the grid. Fraser McConnell, the current ARX2 champion from Jamaica, and then Tom Blomqvist, the British driver, on the outside, son, of course, of the famous rally driver in his Peugeot 208 as well. Crunch time at Yas Marina, semi-final 1. The top 2 will go through. The third place driver from the faster of the semi-finals, and that is the fastest time of the P3 driver, will also make the cut. A lot is going to come down to turn 1. What can Shane van Gisbergen do? Can he take the win here? If he can, he's on for a first ever esports clean sweep in World Rallycross. We're behind Blomqvist, waiting for the green. There it is on the inside. It looks like a better start in the middle of the grid there. Fraser McConnell loses that, drop down to P5. Shane van Gisbergen's got the whole shot of the inside, but a bit of contact gets run wide. Oh, the Audi into the side. It's Kelvin van der Linde. He's still on the inside line. Timmy Hansen, Van Gisbergen somehow has held on. Runs a car a little bit deep again. 2 cars up his inside. Fraser McConnell might be able to hold on. Going to come across from wide on the circuit. Van Gisbergen now slotting into P3. Timmy Hansen comes across. Van Gisbergen's down in 5th, up to 3rd. The amount of movement in this first lap. Roll. Over goes Fraser McConnell. I think it's McConnell who lost out. So now it's Blomqvist leading from Shane Van Gisbergen and Timmy Hansen. Absolute carnage on lap 1. Van Gisbergen somehow, Neil, 1st to 5th, back up to 2nd. Incredible action.
I mean, I don't know if it's just pure luck or pure reflexive skill, but he just somehow managed to avoid every single little bit of difficult and troublesome contact during that sequence of corners that caught out everyone else a tiny bit, and he just carved his way through neatly. There he is, only 0.7 of a second behind Tom Blomqvist.
Reminds me massively of Johan Kristoffersson, just that ability somehow to plan your way through everything. Johan, of course, double World Rallycross champion, who we were looking forward to returning this year to World RX in a factory-built Volkswagen Polo. There's Timmy Hansen sliding up into that top hairpin. I wonder if Timmy might go Joker early and try and overlap Van Gisbergen. If not, then he's going to try and do the fastest time possible in that P3. Van Gisbergen 0.8 back from Blomqvist. Need to watch that gap. Fraser McConnell with the roll 6.4 off, and Kelvin van der Linde's joker, and he's back in 7.3. So Kelvin might get Fraser only being 1.3 behind him. But for me, Neil, the battle is very much about Blomqvist versus Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, and of course, Timmy's in danger here. I mean, he was following very neatly behind Shane for the first part of that first lap, and then he seems to have dropped back a little bit. But he is in danger. He needs to put in the best 3rd place time if he can't get past Shane.
Goes Joker. He goes Joker. Van Gisbergen's gone Joker as well. So Shane Van Gisbergen's gone Joker. I noticed he took a couple of tenths out of Tom Blomqvist on lap 3. So he was closing the gap down. Van Gisbergen thought he was going to get close enough to Blomqvist to start losing time to Timmy Hansen behind him. Then Timmy went Joker as well. So Shane Van Gisbergen and Timmy Hansen have jokered. Tom Blomqvist now, I think, would do well to respond immediately and go. If Van Gisbergen was faster, Neil, he wants to respond immediately and shut the door on that tactical move.
Yeah, we'll watch the body language as he takes this right-hander at the bottom of the hill. If it's tighter handbrake, he's going. He is going Joker.
It is. Blomqvist goes Joker. Watch for the standard lap. Shane Van Gisbergen up over the jump. Blomqvist sideways on the exit, going to come down to the braking zone now. Where is Van Gisbergen? He's behind him. Shane Van Gisbergen on the better line, though. Will have better exit speed here. Going to try and get alongside. Blomqvist in the hairpin. Up the inside, they're side by side. Van Gisbergen is literally on the bumper. We're talking a 1/10 of a second now. Timmy Hansen there to pick up the pieces. If it goes wrong, 3/10 of a second with a lap to go. Van Gisbergen is going to pile the pressure on Blomqvist. Blomqvist sideways in the hairpin, the chicane. Coming up towards the hairpin now. Neil, brilliant drive from Blomqvist.
Yeah, very impressive, especially as he's not quite taking the sim racers line that Giz is. So Giz has really learnt to adapt to the lines that the sim racers use, that fully sideways backed in on the hairpin. Tom is a little bit more traditional, and it's paying off at the moment, but he will be seeing Shane's Peugeot in his mirrors.
Large in his mirrors, large and yellow. The livery that will be familiar to Van Gisbergen fans, a Red Bull driver from V8 Supercars in Australia, an absolute legend there, and he's turning into a legend here as well. I think he's going to miss out on the clean sweep unless Blomqvist makes a mistake. So Van Gisbergen, who was so fast in all the qualifying sessions, got beaten up a little bit here in semi-final number 1. Blomqvist through the last right-hander. If there's no mistake here, Tom Blomqvist nudges the wall, but he's going to hold on and take the win. Surely crosses the line. Shane Van Gisbergen crosses just behind him. So the dream of a clean sweep for Van Gisbergen is over, but he's going to make the final with Blomqvist. Timmy Hansen has set a time which he hopes will be the fastest 3rd place. And Fraser McConnell with that roll comes through in P5. So it is a 4:07.706 for the win. I'm writing this down, which is why I'm talking slowly, because clearly I can't multitask. And then there's a 4:09.624 for Timmy Hansen. So Timmy in P3. Right, let's take a look back then at that one. Let's not. Let's go racing instead and make sure that we get everything done rather than looking back. Good idea.
We've got no time
Kevin
for
Hansen.
replays.
No, we're not going to do that today. Kevin Hansen on the inside. Then it's Rokas Batuska, Henrik Krogstad, Fail Race, and Martin Enlund. Martin Enlund standing in for Ollie Bennett are doing a brilliant job. So well done to Martin. Fail race making the semi-finals. Good job along with Henrik Krogstad. Yellow scored his team boss, Kevin Henson, on the pole. Look, so this is going to be very exciting indeed. Who's going to get the whole shot? About to find out.
Worth remembering that these guys have beaten Charles Leclerc, Andreas Bakkerud, and Timo Scheider to be in this semi-final. That's, you know, chapeau to these guys. That's pretty impressive.
Certainly is. Just waiting for to get the final cars in the lobby and onto the pre-grid. This would be about the time we'd be seeing tyre warming. There we go. Just conditions happened last year, I have to say, being at Abu Dhabi in these conditions.
The desert sunset's quite a spectacular place to be towards the end of an event here. Really beautiful, beautiful circuit.
Okay, that's to your left, here behind Henrik Krogstad. Fail race to your right. On the pole with Kevin Henson. Oh, okay, so a varied start for these guys. Bachuska being left behind. It's a shame for him. Kevin Henson going to get the whole shot. Enlund trying to apply some contact through turn one, just about holds off the back. Alex Day up the inside. Fantastic move. Going to hold on to P2 here. Going to push the car wide. Henrik Krogstad inside Enlund. Enlund has gone from third down to fifth. Bachuska looking for a way through. Bachuska, is he going to be in the wall? He's not. He just about makes it through. Contact between them. Enlund got a big hit there. I don't know if Bachuska glanced off the wall on the inside. It was brave from Rockas. Rockas got left at the start. Again, I don't quite know what happened there, but into the side there, it's Krogstad with contact again. Martin Enlund in the dust. Who's gone Joker? I think Enlund has gone Joker on the very first lap. You're looking at Bachuska, who's down in P4. Where's Enlund? Has he gone Joker? I think he has. He has. So Martin Enlund's gone Joker, the only driver to go on that first lap, Neil.
That was an impressive move there by Rockas Bachuska. That's almost like a kind of car parkour he did. He sort of bounced off one car, bounced off the other and got ahead. Let's call it carcore maybe, is what he did, but he's still in fourth, so it hasn't really worked out that brilliantly for him. And it was kind of Rockas to stay on the line as long as he did, because he gave us a very good view of the start from everybody else. That start has really let Rockas down.
So Krogstad caught, Krogstad, I was going to say caught in a battle, but catches the barrier on the inside. So Henrik Krogstad, who was right behind Alex Day, losing out there. I think, Neil, this is going to come down to, isn't it, as to whether or not Timmy's time is going to be fastest with a 4:09 in P3 to hold off whoever's third in this. Krogstad into the door of Bachuska. Bachuska again, bits of carbon fibre flying off the cars. Bachuska out wide, going to have the inside line if he can hold on the brakes, and Krogstad hits the wall on the inside. Bachuska hits the curb on the opposite side of the track, and look at that, Krogstad recovers to go up the inside of Enlund through the chicane. But out front, Kevin Henson has a 1.9 second lead over Fail Race. Alex Day, the YouTuber, who is our one non-professional driver in here, Neil, he's doing an absolutely brilliant job. So we're going to have the occasional VIP guest in here, and Alex is that this weekend. And doing a brilliant job.
I'm looking forward to watching his YouTube content coming out of this, because he will be hyped doing this. Kevin Henson, of course, breezing. He's just got to take it through the last 2 laps, which will include a Joker, to win this semi-final. That's almost in the bag. He won't make any mistakes now. And I think the fact that Rockas is battling here with Fail Race does mean that we're going to look at Timmy's time is probably going to be good enough.
Yeah, exactly, Neil. That's exactly what I was thinking. And look at this, Alex Day looking up the inside again. Lucky not to collect the rear quarter there. He's going to hope he doesn't have any contact behind. Of course, Krogstad, don't forget, could take it off him. So Henrik Krogstad, it's that position in P2. P1 and 2 doesn't matter how fast you are. You're going through straight away. And Henrik Krogstad has closed the gap down on Alex Day. So looking at the fight for P2, because Bachuska, when he takes the Joker, is going to drop down behind these two. I'm fairly confident. What's he got? He's got 1.5. Bachuska could hold on there. I'll tell you what, it's not done yet, is it?
Yeah, he was really, really smart to battle his way through into second, because now if he can pull out 1.5 seconds, well, he has. He's done enough.
Yeah.
He could Joker and come back in second. Wow. From the
Alex
back,
Day
really
is Alex Day having to defend from Krogstad here. Bachuska maybe should have gone, Neil, because they're having a fight behind him, but he won't know that unless he's got a real-life spotter watching. And we are starting to see that now, with some of the drivers are starting to have someone with them in the room to watch the feed, spectate and see what's going on and give them an idea. Kevin Henson's going to take this, but it's whether or not Bachuska has got enough time to hold off these two. because whoever loses out on P3 is not going to make it. There's been too much battling in this for my liking to make it through on fastest loser. Krogstad going around the outside in the chicane. Henrik Krogstad with an incredible move to take the place off Alex Day. I still don't think it'll be quick enough, and I think it's given just enough time for Bachuska to be able to hold on. So where is Rokas Bachuska? Has he gone Joker? I think he has. Bachuska's in the Joker lap now. Standard lap. Who's going to get to the line first? Kevin Hanson's taken the win, and it's... Oh, I think it might be Krogstad. Krogstad got it from Bachuska. So Henrik Krogstad, with that move on the final lap, has booked himself a place in the final, unless the stewards get involved. But for me, certainly that move was clean. Kevin Hanson takes the win. Henrik Krogstad and Bachuska with a 4:11. That is not fast enough. So it is Timmy Hansen who goes through as the fastest loser. Wow. That move by Krogstad, that was mega.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of similar to one we saw in the previous semi-final from Nigel Curser in the sim racers final. A very smooth move and somehow physics defying, but you see a gap, you trust the grip, and you go for it. Very, very impressive, and it was good enough to see him go through. Incredible. He was right on the edge of making it through into the semi-final, and that one move, is what did it.
They didn't actually lose as much time as I thought. With a 4:11, I think it was, for P3 in that race. And Timmy with a 4:09.6. He was only about 1.5 seconds in it, considering the amount of battling there was as well. But Krogstad for Yellow Squad, of course, he's driving for Kevin Hanson's team. So Kevin Hanson is going to be, well, Kevin and Timmy are going to be running Yellow Squad in Nordic RX and in World RX as well, running an RX2 car in association with Farren Motorsport, Eric Farren's team. So Krogstad here is doing a sneaky Pete, isn't he? He's made it through with that incredible move. And I'm impressed. Krogstad is a threat, definitely. I have to say, shout out to Alex Day, fail race as well. Unlucky, because that was quite the battle. And if he held on to the position, I think he would have beaten Bachuska to the line. But there we go.
Yeah,
so
that
I think
was
we
an
are going to be able
amazing
to take a look.
Eventful semi-final. That was really good. It's a lot of genuine fighting for position, which we don't always see. They quite often could hold position, but there was a lot of people very, very keen to make it all the way through to the 5-car final, which is coming up very soon. But I think it's time for us to have a look at some of the replays of the semi-finals for the pro racers.
Yeah, we've got just a few seconds to go, and then we'll be good. We're saying, okay, so I'm being told to tell Charles Leclerc he's invited to Norway for the 21st of June. Please come back. We'd like to see him have another go. That's fine. Dan Rook's message saying he thinks Rokas jokered 1 lap too late. So Dan watching, and in his analysis role, he thinks it was a lap too late. So this is a look back at those semi-finals. Have a look at this, because Shane Van Gisbergen, Neil, he gets pushed wide here. Look, and you think, oh, he's out here. Gets another bit of contact off Timmy. Then suddenly, so hang on a minute, he's got the whole shot. Then he runs wide. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. He's dropped to 3rd. And I think at one point in the chicane, he's in 5th place. So he's got 3 cars up his inside. There he is. He's in 5th, yeah? Oh, no, hang on a minute. Straight back into 3rd. And then when Fraz rolls, into P2. I mean, that's worthy of a real-life semi-final, isn't it? Because that's pretty much what happens, but particularly if you get someone like Timozyanov in there.
It's almost like he's playing 120-mile-an-hour chess. It's like he can see things about 3 moves ahead, and he's just kind of biding his time and making his way through. And of course, he knew that once he was in the top 2, he didn't have to push too hard. And it's not like they're going to have to make any repairs on the car properly between semi and final. But he knew as long as he was in the top 2, he's guaranteed a place in the final. So he didn't have to attack for Tom Blomqvist. This is semi 2.
Yeah, so great start by Kevin Hanson, but it was Alex Day in the background. So there was this fight, this 3-way fight between Fail Race, Martin Enland and Rokas Bachuska. And there was just a little bit too much racing maybe between them. And then I thought Alex had it in the bag, but Krogstad was closing him down, wasn't he? This was sort of where Krogstad had Joker, and Bachuska manages to get... Look at Krogstad. I tell you what, he carved his way through, didn't he? He really did.
Yeah, look how far back he is now and a little spin there, and still managed to make it. He's at the back of the standings. He was in 5th temporarily.
Epic. So great stuff from the semi-finals. It's final time for us now, and we're going to be heading back to our sim racers first of all. I've just heard from Nigel Cross at Serene Logic on his social media, and of course his gamer tag as well. And he said that it was fun while it lasted. I had some issues with the car, mostly the gearing, so maybe chose the wrong gear ratios. But he said, I gave it my all. Much respect to all the drivers, keeping it composed on a track like Yas Marina. So, yeah, Nigel, we did like the overtake. What a mate. Great stuff. Right, we're ready for the final for the esports sim races. These guys are the very best at this game. Expect this to be very close indeed. Here's your grid then for the first round of the World RX Esports Series, and this is the esports final for our sim racers. Lucas Mateja on the pole with Quinton Del Olmo and Killian Del Olmo next to him. So the Del Olmo brothers are going to need to avoid each other on the run to the first corner. Then you've got John Armstrong, Dirt Rally's tame rally driver. He's not tame, I promise you. Have a look at the clips on Instagram. The bloke's committed. And John Harris on the outside. So a couple of British drivers on the outside. What can they do? Here we go. Final of the first round of our 4-round series. Abu Dhabi first, then Norway, Sweden, and Cape Town. Ah, yes, proper darkness for the final. We've gone through the day. We saw a rain shower in Q4. We had dusk for the semi-finals, and now we are racing in the dark. And having been lucky enough to be at this track and experience it in the dark, it is a fantastic spectacle. Great to see. Yas Marina, ready to race light is on. You're behind Mateja, the pole man. He won semi-final one in some style, but he's got the Del Olmos next to him. Great start by Mateja on the inside. Surely going to hold on down towards turn one. Quinton Del Olmo into his rear quarter, but not quite. Goes on the handbrake round the outside. Mateja on 2 wheels. Quinton Del Olmo into the lead. Killian Del Olmo, the Set Esports driver, takes P2. Mateja on the brakes up the inside. Pushes Killian Del Olmo wide. Del Olmo tries to straighten the car up, but can't. John Armstrong has got an inside line on Killian Del Olmo. Del Olmo's going to try and shut the door on Dirt Rally driver, but he can't, and sideways contact between them as well. So Quinton Del Olmo leads from Lucas Mateja. Super close, and Neil, despite all the contact, these guys are absolutely flying.
Yeah, they seem to just know not to sort of take each other out too brutally. There's a bit of leaning, but able to make those micro adjustments in game that they're used to from so much time in this game, because they know that they're the ones that could end up spinning and in the wall and dropping seconds.
John Armstrong's taken his joker and is down in P5. Goes to show you how close it is between these guys. Quinton Del Olmo and Lucas Mateja out the front. Neil, it's going to come down to lap times now and joker lap tactics. It's only 0.6 of a second behind it. I mean, Mateja could be brave enough to make a pass. We've seen these guys be pretty forceful. Don't forget, they've competed with each other in the quarters, the semis, and the World Championship finals. And also Mateja and both the Del Olmos, our top 3 here in both of our previous invitationals. Mateja goes joker. Lucas Mateja goes joker. Is he going to come out in front of John Harris? He should do. The gap was just about 2.3. Look at the way he backs it into the apex. He's on the back of Killian Del Olmo already.
Well, that's the slingshot out of the joker. You take a risk by dropping maybe just over a second, but you do get a very, very quick exit. And now he's properly putting pressure on Killian.
You take a risk by yanking the handbrake in 4th gear. That's what you do. Coming into the joke lap so sideways, but so accurately. And again, that's what we mean about the esports drivers and the amount of time they put in on the game. They know how to play the physics and try to get every last 10th of a second out. Into the wall for Mateja, just a nudge. And Killian Del Olmo's gone joker. Where's he going to come out? Is he going to come out behind John Harris or in front? It's close between them. So Mateja then in front of Killian Del Olmo holds on to his P2. And look at that, he's backwards before the apex. So Lucas Mateja hoping to catch up to Quinton Del Olmo. 2.3 seconds though for me, Neil. Quinton's going to take this.
Yeah, the only question here is when does Quinton take the joker in again? I think we might see him take it on the penultimate lap. So not this lap, not the last lap, but lap 5 for Quinton, just to make sure that last lap is super quick. Because that gap to Mateja,
he's gone joker now. So he goes joker a lap early. Going to try and defend the place for Lucas Mateja. Look for the merge now around the outside. Del Olmo holds on. So Quinton Del Olmo is down to a 7/10 of a second gap from Lucas Mateja. So Lucas Mateja is right behind, but he's actually coming under pressure from Killian Del Olmo. So the brothers can play together here, Neil, really. If Killian keeps piling the pressure onto Lucas, he won't be able to take the lines he'd like to take, and that's going to leave Quinton clear to take the win.
But I'm still fascinated by the fact that these sim racers, these esports specialists, do not take that super wide line down that long straight, that they stick within the sort of track limits that we would see on the Grand Prix circuit, whereas a lot of the pro drivers are actually going super wide right up to the barrier. Maybe it's a trick that doesn't pay off in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. Kylian Del Olmo piling it on here. A little bit of contact with Lucas Mateja. Mateja trying to close down the gap to Quinton Del Olmo, but I don't think it's going to happen. So Quinton Del Olmo with half a length of a straight and a 1.6 second lead. Kylian Del Olmo is the world champion. He's in P3, but it's his brother Quinton. Both of them have competed in real rallycross. I must tell you, they do basically buggy racing, dirt buggy racing in France, or have done cross kart as it's known within the sport. And Quinton Del Olmo, who won the last round of the Invitational Series from Portugal, wins the first round of the Esports Series in the esports category. It's Quinton Del Olmo, Lucas Mateja, and Kylian Del Olmo, your top three. John Armstrong takes fourth, and John Harris in fifth. Just 6 seconds between them, and 4:02 is the time. So they are around 5 seconds ahead of the time of the real racers. So you can see there why we've separated them out. On then to our real life racers. These guys coming from all forms of motorsport to do battle here, and it's final time. Tom Blomqvist is on the pole, and that's thanks to his point score from qualifying and, of course, his win in semi-final number one. Kevin Henson manages to get second place on the grid there. Shane van Gisbergen is in the middle. Henrik Krogstad, P4, and Timmy Hansen in P5. It is an all Peugeot 208 WRX final. Let's get things underway. So Blomqvist with that brilliant battle with van Gisbergen, holding him off for the whole of the semi-final. Van Gisbergen, for me, doing an incredible job fighting back from that contact in the first couple of corners. Both the Hansen brothers are in here. Kevin Hansen won at Abu Dhabi last year in real life after the stewards intervened. Remember, it's Kevin Hansen in slot number 2 and Shane van Gisbergen in slot number 3. So I think we're going to be behind van Gisbergen. We are. So you're behind Shane van Gisbergen. On the pole on the inside, remember, is Tom Blomqvist. Ready to race light comes on. Here we go. Look for the green. Oh, great start by van Gisbergen. Managed to edge Kevin Hansen off the line. Definitely coming down towards turn 1, though. Timmy Hansen on the outside. Oh, on a spin. Contacting around. Shane van Gisbergen is in the lead. Kevin Hansen drops to the back of the pack. Tom Blomqvist in P2. Cuts the corner there. Timmy Hansen up the inside. Bit of contact in the start of Tom. No mercy there at all. Henrik Krogstad up into third place, but Neil, Shane van Gisbergen has got the whole shot and is going to be looking to check out front. Oh, Krogstad in the wall, contact between him, Tom Blomqvist and Kevin Hansen. They've all lost out. For me, this is a 2-horse race now.
That was an incredible first sequence from Shane. Van Gis just completely untouchable again.
Absolutely epic stuff from the New Zealander. Into the joke lap goes Blomqvist and Henrik Krogstad. We saw Krogstad Krogstad rolls! Whoa. Krogstad rolls the car, lands on 4 wheels and continues. So good job by Krogstad after a brilliant battle in the semi-finals. Made passes everywhere, but this time rolls up in the Joker lap. So Tom Blomqvist is down in P4, Henrik Krogstad down in P5. What's van Gisbergen doing out front? So he's 1.6 seconds ahead of Timmy Hansen. There is the fight for the lead. So Shane van Gisbergen into the hairpin. Timmy Hansen sideways on the way in as well. Going to drop that car right down onto the apex. Through the right-hander on the dirt. How far back is Kevin from Timmy? It's significant, Neil. Look, we're waiting for the timing sheet to update. And he's 4.4 seconds back. So this is just now down to lap pace, and based on the previous sessions, Neil, you've got to bet on van Gisbergen.
Yeah, this isn't going to... It's very, very unlikely that Timmy will be able to eat into the Giz's lead here. 1.7 seconds, and neither of them have jokered. So just watching just the confident car, body language, the way that he's throwing it around, and like not likely to make a mistake. Timmy really does have to drive out of his skin now. The Swede, current world champion, trying to hunt down the Kiwi, but I'm not sure he can do it.
So Shane van Gisbergen with 1.7 seconds over the World Rallycross champion Timmy Hansen. Kevin Hansen is down in 5th place. Tom Blomqvist 4th, Henrik Krogstad in 3rd. I think Kevin was a little bit unlucky. He got spun, didn't he, in turn 1, and then he got contact again in the chicane at the back. But that is the way it goes sometimes. 2.1. So van Gisbergen is extending that lead as we thought. What a performance. I'm kind of sorry that Shane isn't going to manage to do the clean sweep, because I strongly believe he deserves it today, Neil, don't you?
Yeah, I do wonder if, you know, he backed off a little bit, or was just Tom Blomqvist just that little bit too good in that semi-final. Otherwise, you know, this guy's been completely unstoppable. And if he doesn't Joker until the end, we don't even give Timmy a chance.
Well, Timmy's gone Joker on lap 4, so Timmy goes Joker with 2 laps to go. That puts the gap up to 4 seconds. We know it can be done in around 1.2 if you're tidy. And you can't say that Van Gisbergen and Timmy Henson are not tidy. Running the car all the way out to the wall again. Watch that gap. The 4.0 gap is what you're looking for. We should get another update now. Van Gisbergen's crossed the timing line. Watch for Timmy Henson. He's going up. He's gone up 0.3 again. So Shane Van Gisbergen is showing the World Rallycross champion how to do this on Dirt Rally 2.0. Van Gisbergen goes into the Joker lap with a lap to go, so wants to give himself a little bit of breathing space up and over the curbs on the brakes now and turns the car into the first corner. What an absolutely epic performance. This is brilliant.
He's breezed it. I mean, that was the only risk, was get the Joker nailed. But now we know that because your last lap, your lap after your Joker will be your quickest lap of the race, then he's absolutely leapt ahead.
Well, Shane Van Gisbergen, the New Zealand driver who takes part in Aussie V8s and is in fact leading their esports series as well, has shown what an absolute master of crossover between the different disciplines he is. Van Gisbergen won all 4 qualifying sessions. He was P2 in semi-final 1, and he takes the win at Yas Marina. The first ever round of the World RX Esports Series goes to Van Gisbergen. Timmy Henson, the World Rallycross champion, crosses the line in P2, and it's Henrik Krogstad, the RX2 driver, who takes 3rd place. Blomqvist 4th. And Kevin Hansen coming across the line in 5th. 4:02.008 as well. I think that's faster than the esports winning time. So Van Gisbergen, I'm pretty sure there, going quicker than the esports finalist went. Well, fantastic. What a performance. Absolutely shown everybody how it's done. That's amazing.
You know, you got to wonder how the Hansons feel about lending him their car for this event.
Oh, they might ban him. I'll tell you what, they're highly unlikely to invite him to a real event now, are they, Neil? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. We know the score. We know that playing Dirt Rally 2.0 is not the same as competing in real life. But what you've got to understand is that Shane Van Gisbergen's been quick in everything he's got in ever. And I just really desperately want to see whether Van Gisbergen would be that quick in real life. But let's be honest, I'd take any. Charles Leclerc, come on, you're welcome, mate. Come and have a go at real rallycross. It's fine. I'm sure Ferrari won't mind. We'd love it if Ferrari entered. We appreciate there's a slight lack of a suitable model at the moment, but maybe they can bring one out, Neil.
Or we could just going to boot up a Testarossa or something and fire it around. I'd like to see that round Holius.
Get old school, yeah? Go with the Testarossa. What was that one that Magnum drove? You know, he had a Ferrari, didn't he? Conor Martel could do that. You noticed Martel had a moustache today. I noticed that. I
think that might have been interfering with the Wi-Fi.
The signal. I've had a message from Fraser McConnell. He said he was gutted to finish it on his roof, basically, to go out on his roof. But he did also say, big up. So big up, Fraz. Thanks, mate. Great to have you along. Great to have all the drivers along today. What a brilliant day's race. And I have to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And Shane Van Gisbergen, just an absolutely epic performance. So we're going to take a look back at some replays from the final, I think. So let's see if we can pick the bones of this one, Neil Cole, because to be honest with you, it was pretty much over by the chicane on lap 1.
I think.
Okay, what have we got? Okay, so this is the esports final, first of all, yeah. Lucas Matejo with a great start on the inside. You can see there was just a tiny bit of contact from Quinton Del Olmo, but nothing untoward. Matejo doing well to hold on there. Again, a little nudge. And Neil, again, as you say, they know how to play the game. And we mean that literally in this sense. They're all leaning on each other enough, but not so much that they go off. And it meant that the whole final was super close.
Yeah, and super clean. You know, despite the shame for John Armstrong driving in his VR headset and John Harris, just very, very clean. And ultimately, the older brother beat the younger brother, which is the natural order of things today, separated by Lucas.
Yeah, fantastic job by Quinton Del Olmo to take the win. And this then was on to the real-life final. Shane Van Gisbergen in the middle of your screen. So these are our factory racing drivers. Kevin Hansen, yeah, he was really unlucky. Just got collected maybe by Krogstad. I'd need to see it a few times, and we're not going to have that luxury today. So Shane Van Gisbergen out front. Timmy Hansen then came across Blomqvist. I don't think that was out of order. I think Blomqvist sort of stalled up at the apex, but it was firm, let's say. And then this was where the race was really over, Neil, wasn't it? Because these three guys instantly lost 5 seconds.
Yeah, sparks flying. And I think we'll see, there you go, a complete roll from Krogstad without losing any speed. I mean, that's a very impressive skill. He's going to get Terry Grant to offer him a spot in a stunt show at some point.
So absolutely fantastic job. Shane van Gisbergen taking the first ever World RX Esports Series win. So had a few messages coming in. I say we've already heard that Charles Leclerc has been invited to Norway. Come on, you'll be all right. I'm sure Ferrari won't mind you having a day off. I've had a suggestion as well that, of course, Ferrari do own Fiat, Neil. So, you know, I'm sure we can find a suitable Fiat which can become a World Rallycross car. The world needs more World Rallycross cars. This is what you must understand. 2-litre turbocharged engines are relevant to me. And I just want to see lots of them. It's fine. 0 to 60. Actually, it's a good point. We're faster than F1 car from 0 to 60. So really, you know, just come and have a go. Fiat can build you something.
Get a little Cinquecento in there, or, you know, a 500 hour at least.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, actually, there's one of the new rally cars that's been built out of the Fiat shell. So I'm sure somebody could work on levering the big 600 horsepower lump in there. Where there's a will, there's a way. We've got a little while to wait anyway before we get the real life season underway. Somebody build Charles Leclerc a Fiat World Rallycross car, right? What else have we got?
I'd take Ferrari first, but a Fiat would be okay.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm sure Ferrari are all over it now. They've seen the performance. Fantastic afternoon of racing. I can't wait for the next one. And Shane van Gisbergen, an absolute beast. That's from the Dorset Viking. So on Twitter, yeah, agreed. He absolutely smashed it, didn't he? Brilliant stuff by him. We've got Hawkins here watching. We've got Gattis Gigi asking where's the dog. I don't know. The dog has been a bit of a letdown, hasn't he? He was great in show number 1 and appears to have lost interest. So there obviously needs to be more treats on his rider if he's going to appear again. What else have we got from Twitter?
He could be bringing you in results and grids. You know, you could get him trained.
He just choose post. It would be no good. It would be no good. Well, so we're watching Fail Race and Charles Leclerc work racing in World RX. That's from Hawkins here again earlier on today. Yeah, so thank you for getting in touch, guys. Much appreciated. We hope you've enjoyed it. And, you know, let us know what you thought about this first round. And yeah, who would you like to see in the future rounds? I say we're going to do our best to make as many of the drivers as possible continue with it. But as I say, we've got other esports series and also real life commitments are starting to come back. And we should give a little mention to that because I know how hard it's been. You know, me and Neil have been stuck at home as well doing our bit. And I know everybody's country has different rules and regulations, but the whole stay home, stay safe thing is still applying to most places. But it is also wonderful to see a light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's cheered me up to be able to go out and do more things. And having spoken to my various friends across Europe, I know there's a similar situation in most countries. So we just hope you're staying safe and we hope you're enjoying this. You know, we're doing our best to keep you entertained until we can get the real sport back on the way. Neil, we're desperate to get back in the real paddock too, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm just watching the racing today has made me yearn because that first event at Yas Marina last year when we were there and the way that the light changed, you know, you're on the edge of the desert in UAE and at UAE, and it's an extraordinary place to be, and it's just made me yearn to go there again. In fact, as soon as we've come off air, I'm going to go and look to see if there's any content go up, if Charles Leclerc twitched it. You know, I want to see other people's perspective on the racing, and I urge you to do the same. I mean, sure, it's quite nice outside here, but I've just got the fever for rallycross again, and I need to watch some more straight away.
I'll watch it on my phone, Neil, because I'm going to go watch it in the garden. I think I might have to fire up the barbecue and have an adult beverage, because yeah, another great afternoon's racing. Thoroughly enjoyed seeing our guest drivers come along. It particularly impressive, obviously Tom Blomqvist. I mean, we knew Shane van Gisbergen was going to be quick. We didn't think he'd be quite that quick. You know, there's an argument for putting Shane into both the esports category and the real life category, but fantastic performance by him. So yeah, I say let us know who do you think is going to win.
Off to Tom Blomqvist.
Yeah, amazing. Great performance.
I mean, amazing. You know, just to come out of nowhere. I mean, we know he's a talented peddler, but that is really impressive in that field of drivers, you know, that people didn't make it, but like Andreas Bakker didn't make it through to the semis, but really good by Son of Stig. Very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. We're going to take a look at championship standings, are we? I think.
Because it's a real championship now.
There we are. So Shane van Gisbergen just 1 point off a perfect score. A perfect score in the World Rallycross Championship is 30 points, 16 for the TQ top qualifier spot, 6 for the semi-final win, and 8 for the final win. And he got P2 in his semi-final. So 1 point off. Very impressive indeed. Timmy Henson and Kevin Henson together on points 23 each. Henrik Krogstad in fourth. Bachuska, Tom Blomqvist, Kelvin van der Linde, and Fail Race are your top 8 in the standings. Brilliant performance. And I say those standings are going to continue through the remaining rounds. So looking forward to seeing who will be on the top of that table. We're going to be crowning an esports champion, Neil.
I like it. Yeah. Before we go real racing again in August, we will crown a real champion.
Yeah, exactly. Going to crown an esports champion, and then hopefully get back to crowning a real champion as well. So a thoroughly exciting day's racing. Great as well from the esports drivers. I say, you know, we were expecting the Del Olmos and Matasia to be up at the front, but it is super close between all those guys. Neil, thanks very much. Much appreciated. Good fun day.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Great racing, and great to see your face again.
Thanks, mate. So thank you to Neil Cole. Thank you for all you guys for watching at home. Say stay safe. The next event will be in Norway on the 21st of June. Then we'll be heading to Sweden to the famous Hollier circuit, and finally down to Cape Town as well. So round one of the World RX Esports Series is over. Shane van Gisbergen was the winner. We'll see you next time.